Chapter 1149. Su Yin rushed into the space-time tunnel, rapidly dashing inside. The space-time tunnel was very long. The instant he passed through it, heaven and earth trembled. Suddenly, Su Yin encountered an astonishing pressure that originated from space-time, from the environment, and even from across the distance of heaven and earth. Su Yin was astonished. The pressure was very strong. No wonder there were so many corpses in the tunnel. They all died because they couldn't withstand it. These people are really unlucky. Su Yin muttered. Crossing from the original world to the immortal graveyard was like crossing a long space-time. Some cultivators died because they couldn't withstand it. These effects didn't affect Su Yin much, but he already sensed the pressure of the world ahead. This was an extremely terrifying environmental suppression. At first, Su Yin wasn't used to it, but when the power of the universe in his body was released, he perfectly withstood the change in environment. Does this count as going from one universe to another? Su Yin secretly said. He followed the space-time tunnel and finally rushed out, stepping into a brand new world. The rich aura of life that greeted him made Su Yin's body shine. He sensed a special spiritual energy. This world was filled with an astonishing spiritual energy. This was something that couldn't be seen in the outside world. Su Yin sighed in admiration. Just the essence energy of the immortal graveyard was different from the outside world. Over time, everyone would nourish a special spirituality. This spiritual energy could improve one's aptitude, cleanse the body, and make one closer to the great Tao. This is the cultivation world, the world of those who have achieved the Tao. Su Yin couldn't help but sigh in admiration. If one continued to cultivate like this, there would really be a fundamental change. His gaze surveyed the surroundings. The world of the immortal graveyard was magnificent, the atmosphere majestic. Spiritual energy surged, nourishing all living things. He had to say that this place was filled with the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. The heaven, earth, rivers, and mountains contained divine elegance, extremely extraordinary. Moreover, the mountains, rivers, and earth here were also extremely sturdy, full of spirituality, divinity. Su Yin surveyed the surroundings. The world was vast, but there wasn't an ancient aura. It was like a brand new world. He could capture the uniqueness of this environment, the completeness of the great Tao of the universe. What an immortal graveyard! Su Yin murmured. He stared at the sky again. In the past, heavenly deities could pierce through the sky, but things were different here. The sky was deep to the extreme, filled with boundless might and boundless cosmic energy. If I were to break through here, I would definitely surpass the outside world. Fortunately, I did not break through to the Divine King's realm before. Su Yin laughed heartily. He soared in this world and felt the grandeur of the environment. Because he had bathed in the mysterious yellow root and borrowed the universe's origin to feel the grandeur and profundities of the universe, he quickly adapted to this environment. Even his decline was at its peak. This made Su Yin's emotions surge. He couldn't wait to find a pure land and begin the path to the Divine King. Breaking through to the Divine King was not an easy task. First of all, one had to find a place with sufficient spiritual energy. The energy required to break through was extremely abnormal, and not something an ordinary place could satisfy. Of course, Su Yin didn't really care about this because his foundation was strong enough. I wonder if the great dojos of the past are still around? Su Yin's thoughts flew. He thought of some of the scenes of cultivation in the immortal planet. Since this immortal graveyard was related to the immortal planet, Su Yin might be able to dig up some of the dojos left behind. Perhaps those dojos were related to the taboo. Dojos left behind by the taboo? This was too important. Su Yin's eyes turned red. After all, dojos left behind by the taboo were definitely the strongest cultivation environment in prehistory. They were extremely suitable for cultivation. Su Yin went on a long journey and left this region. He wanted to understand the immortal graveyard as soon as possible. There were very few cultivators in the outer region. The immortal graveyard had been open for almost a year, and many experts had rushed into the depths of this world. Su Yin traversed the mountains and rivers, but did not come across any familiar areas. After all, he had been here before. Even Su Yin had an illusion that he had lived in the immortal planet before. Back then, when he dreamed of returning to the immortal planet, it was as if it had really happened. Now, he wanted to find some traces of the past in his dream. A day and a night passed. Su Yin crossed the vast rivers and mountains and arrived at the place where cultivators gathered. In front of him, the spiritual energy was even denser. Many cultivators were searching for treasures and digging up medicinal herbs. There were some disputes, but overall, it could be considered peaceful. Su Yin crossed over, wanted to find some cultivators to ask about the major events that had happened in the immortal graveyard recently. However, just as he approached this area, Su Yin's expression changed slightly. In the distant world, waves of energy surged. Waves of majestic energy fluctuations surged forth. They came from an extremely distant place, but they suppressed the entire world, causing it to tremble violently. What a terrifying energy aura! The scene of the earth shaking and mountains shaking alarmed all living beings. Someone whispered, "It happened yesterday. Why is it surging again today? Does anyone know what happened? Could it be that a supreme treasure has been unearthed?" When it came to supreme treasures, these cultivators were unmoved. After all, this was the immortal graveyard. Too many people died, all day. Even if there were treasures, Tao fields, and prehistoric inheritances, 99% of the people did not dare to go. This was a very cruel reality. They knew that these fortunes were not something they could fight for. If they went, they would only die. You still don't know? Someone said in surprise, "This is the movement of a breakthrough." At first, it was not particularly fierce, but in the past few days, it has become more and more extraordinary. Breakthrough, almighty. Su Yin was surprised. He looked at the area where the energy fluctuations were spreading and muttered to himself, "I've been in seclusion for 5 or 6 years. Can I keep up with the times? How many young almighties are there in the immortal graveyard?" Su Yin clenched his fists tightly. His figure also disappeared on the spot as he chased in the direction of the source. He wanted to go over and see who had broken through to the almighty level. He did not even hide the energy leaking out, which meant that the other party had a great background. There was definitely an expert protecting him. However, what surprised Su Yin was that when he was about to reach his destination, he saw a magnificent giant city at the end of the horizon. It was too magnificent and huge, much more magnificent than the Great Tao City. However, Su Yin quickly calmed down. After all, this was the immortal planet Great Earth. There was a city here, and he was no exception. Someone is going to break through to the almighty level in this city. Su Yin looked at the city. There were still many energy fluctuations in the sky above the city. They were rolling like tides, exuberant and peerless. They vaguely outlined a huge figure that filled this space and time. A young king was going to break through to the almighty level. This was serious news that shocked all races. There were already many residents in this city, and it was bustling with noise and excitement. However, everyone in the city was now discussing this matter. Qiuming is about to break through. His aura is leaking out uncontrollably all day long. He can't suppress his current level. However, even if Qiuming is going to break through, he still needs a long time to accumulate. However, the divine energy in this city is so exuberant that it will certainly reduce the time needed for Qiuming to break through. The cultivators in the city were discussing. Su Yin, who had entered the city, looked a little cold. So was Qiuming. However, he was relieved. The era had not yet arrived, where young almighties were everywhere. Qiuming had not completed his breakthrough and was currently in this city. Let's go and take a look. Su Yin approached Qiuming's place of seclusion step by step. This large reception area had been reduced to a forbidden area. A large number of experts from the sealed heaven region were patrolling and guarding this area, forbidding any cultivators from entering. Su Yan's gaze locked onto an official residence in the center of the area. He could feel that the official residence was burning with life essence, releasing a shocking amount. It It was continuously absorbing the spiritual chi in the city, accumulating his exceptional foundation. Sometimes his aura would leak out uncontrollably, creating a scene of great regions being swallowed up. There were quite a few cultivators here who were watching the ceremony. Some of them had been watching here for a month, not taking a single step away. It seemed like they were waiting for Qiu-Ming to complete his breakthrough. Qiu-Ming isn't an almighty right now, but the essence blood leaking out is actually so shocking. It is hard to imagine just how strong Qiu-Ming will be once he breaks through. Even in the entire immortal graveyard, who can compare to Qiu-Ming? A few people sighed. They were truly convinced by Qiu-Ming's divine might. Moreover, his breakthrough would be extremely fast. In less than half a month, he would completely break through. Qiu-Ming, you want to break through? Su Yin stood in the distance, looking at Qiu-Ming's official residence. He was sitting cross-legged inside the residence, spitting out the huge city's life essence. He coldly snorted in his heart. It's time to settle some grudges. If you break through to the almighty realm, I will avoid your sharp edge. But if you fail, killing intent rose in Su Yan's heart. Since it had come at this time, it seemed like fate was also helping him. Our luck has changed. An expert from the sealed heaven region sneered. Our race's luck has changed. After the calamity, our race will rise under the leadership of war god Qiu-Ming. Hearing this, Su Yin turned around and left. He coldly sneered in his heart. Luck, let's see if it will lean towards you. 5 years of bloody battles had forged Su Yan's invincible heart. Qiu-Ming had yet to step into the almighty realm. It was too early to say that his luck had changed. Since he had chosen to break through in such a high-profile manner in front of everyone in the huge city, he was truly unscrupulous. However, Su Yin had nothing to fear. Su Yin wandered around the city for a while and saw an extremely lively restaurant. The Hall of Kings. Su Yin raised his head and glanced around. It was already lively enough outside the residence. Quite a number of cultivators were quietly waiting here. From the looks of it, this should be the attendants of the people inside the residence. Su Yin saw quite a number of heavenly deities with powerful auras among them. Just as he lifted his foot and was about to walk in, he was stopped. The 2 guards who stopped him looked down at Su Yin. Seeing his disheveled appearance, they shook their heads. One of them said, "Halt. This is the Hall of Kings. Only future kings are qualified to enter this place." The Hall of Kings was very famous. Qiu-Ming often invited young experts from various sects to banquets here. Over time, it was known as the Hall of Kings. Those who could enter this place were also a symbol of status. Buzz. Su Yan's eyes widened slightly. The aura surging in his body was like an avalanche, suppressing the 2 peak divine realm experts to the point that they had difficulty breathing. Their expressions were frightening. One of them hurriedly said, "Fellow cultivator, please don't be offended. Please come in and leave." Su Yin did not say anything. He walked into the Hall of Kings, found a seat, and sat down. Then, he ordered some wine and dishes. There were many young experts gathered here, and they were all experts with reputations. They were all talking loudly here. Most of them were talking about Qiu-Ming. There were even some who said that they had prepared generous gifts and were waiting for Qiu-Ming to complete his breakthrough to present them to their superiors. Once Qiu-Ming stepped into the realm of Almighty, he would become the most popular figure in the entire universe. At the same time, it also meant that the endless land of inheritance would be conquered by Qiu-Ming. Have you heard? Su Yan's friends are not doing well. This time, they will most likely all be defeated and killed. Someone said in a low voice. When Su Yin heard this, it was like a clap of thunder. The wine cup in his hand was silently annihilated. Chapter 1150. Su Yan's chest heaved violently. After 5 years of bloody battles, even if the world collapsed in front of him, he wouldn't even frown. Back then, he went to the Hell Palace in a hurry and didn't get rid of the 3 sons in advance. However, with Bao Kai and the others' combat power, they shouldn't have been suppressed by the 3 sons. How could the 3 sons of chaos leave Bao Kai and the others without any room to fight back? After all, Bao Kai controlled the banners of demons. There was a terrifying inheritance in his bloodline that was suspected to be related to the previous demon sovereigns. Bao Kai could even kill the North Demon, which was enough to prove his potential. If Bao Kai stepped into the Divine King, he would definitely be extremely terrifying. Back then, before they went to the Chaos Tower, Bao Kai and the others were almost at the peak of the Celestial Realm. Furthermore, the Chaos Tower had been open for 4 or 5 years. No matter how weak Bao Kai and the others were, they were very close to the Divine King. Even the Yi Yuan returned to the Savage Mountain. Back then, even the prehistoric Big Brother went there. The prehistoric Big Brother even barged into the Divine Palace. The last time he finished his cultivation in the Yi Yuan and went to the Savage Mountain, it was for the Divine Palace. The Yi Yuan's opportunities were also very shocking. After stepping into the Divine King, he wouldn't be too weak. Furthermore, Dali and Tensor weren't ordinary powerhouses. Moreover, they had forged their own divine weapons. In addition, Su Yan had given them many killing array weapons. They definitely had ways to resist the Divine King. But now, what did Su Yan hear? They were most likely all dead. Could it be that someone had already died? Su Yan's body was filled with killing intent. His long hair fluttered in the wind, but he restrained himself. There were too many people in this huge city. Su Yan didn't want to expose himself now. Everyone felt like they were trapped in the Hell Palace. Now that he had come out, he couldn't act rashly. He didn't want his enemies to be on guard. The 3 signs of chaos are domineering. They have taken over the prehistoric dojo, Chaos Dojo. When Xiaoming steps into the realm of the mighty, the 3 signs will also break through to the realm of the mighty. In the future, they will look down on the world. Someone laughed and said, right now, in the immortal graveyard, Xiaoming, the 3 sons of chaos, and Xiaoming, these 3 forces are the most popular. The 3 sons of chaos and Xiaoming used to see Su Yan as a thorn in their side. Now that he's fallen into the Hall of Hell, it'd be strange if his friends had a good ending. It's a pity that Su Xianren fell into the Hall of Hell. It's already been more than 5 years, yet there's still no news from him. Someone sighed deeply, thinking back to the days when Su Yan rebuked the world. Su Yan's expression was cold. Chaos Dojo? Could it be the dojo that he had joined in the past? Ever since the 3 signs of chaos had taken over the Chaos Dojo, their fame had spread far and wide. They had recruited many young experts. In addition, the Chaos Valley itself was powerful, and they had many subordinates. Now, in the immortal graveyard, it could be said that they were like the sun in the midday sky. After all, the temptation of a peerless dojo was too great. The experts who had boasted of being geniuses in the past had now lowered their proud heads and followed the 3 signs. Ha ha ha! Someone laughed loudly and said, Su Yan is nothing. Even if he comes out of the Hall of Hell, he'll most likely be in despair. The era of the immortal graveyard is completely different from the outside world. What can Su Yan change when he comes out of seclusion? I'm afraid that when the time comes, War God Xiaoming will be able to kill Su Yan with a single slap. Not to mention Xiaoming. Even the 3 signs are enough to kill Su Yan. The era has changed. Once, their invincible combination shocked the reincarnation universe. Unfortunately, the demon expert who killed the North Demon fell into a perilous situation. The immeasurable body was killed by Xiaoming. Also, if it wasn't for the Dao Hall's sacred body of extreme, stopping Xiaoming, that guy called Luo, Dali would most likely be dead. However, the Dao Hall's sacred body of extreme, was also severely injured. Hearing the words that echoed in the Hall of Kings, Su Yan's heart was filled with a terrifying anger that he couldn't vent. Tensor was dead? Su Yan's eyes were red, and his heart felt like it was being twisted by a knife. The Zhang family village's immeasurable body had fallen in the hands of Xiaoming. Even EC Yin had been severely injured by Xiaoming, and the Bao Kai had fallen into a perilous situation. This made Su Yan's heart churn with cold, killing intent. That's right. The only remaining expert called Yi Yuan is indeed outstanding and can fight with any of the 3 signs. However, it will be difficult for him to survive this calamity. Su Yan heard the news about Yi Yuan. He wasn't surprised. Yuan must be extremely powerful now and should have stepped into the realm of the Divine King. He must have obtained a great opportunity in the Savage Mountain. What were the origins of the three Scions of Chaos? They were the children of Taboo. The rise of Yuan had shocked the world. However, it was a pity that Su Yin had too many enemies back then. Now, all of them were counted on the three Scions. Yuan had been living a bitter life. He had been fighting bloody battles and struggling in the Hell domain. That's right. The three Scions' methods are too tyrannical. He didn't even give face to the Daluo dynasty. I don't know if Emperor Nan will intervene in this. Someone stood up and sneered. If Emperor Nan dares to intervene, he will also be killed by the three Scions in the Chaos Dojo. Now, who dares to stand up and help Su Yan's friends? Although a mysterious woman has tried to stop them time and time again, the three Scions said that they have already seen through her identity. They will settle the score with this woman after they have killed all of Su Yan's subordinates. Su Yan suddenly clenched his fist. He thought of someone. Bamboo Moon. He had very few friends. If there was someone who had the ability to stop the three Scions, it should be Bamboo Moon. After all, she had received guidance from the prehistoric Big Brother and even obtained a great opportunity in the Sky Bamboo Mountain. Bamboo Moon should have also stepped into the realm of the Divine King. However, Su Yin was a little confused. What did this have to do with Emperor Nan? Finally, Su Yin received a piece of news that made his blood boil. Every dog has its day. Back then, Su Yin dominated the world. He suppressed the younger generation until they were dim. Too many young overlords died in his hands. Now, the three Scions, Tyrant Rupture, has taken action and captured Luo Huaqing of the Daluo dynasty alive. He wants to force Su Yan's old subordinates to intervene. I think Su Yan's subordinates most likely won't go. They will die if they go. However, Luo Huaqing is the little princess of the Daluo dynasty. Do you think Emperor Nan, the Overlord, will go? It's hard to say. Emperor Nan and Luo Tiandu's faction have been fighting. However, Su Yan's faction has been completely defeated. It doesn't matter whether they save him or not. Once Xiaoming breaks through to the Almighty Realm, Yuan will have nowhere to run. Now, many people were paying attention to the primal Chaos Dao field. Ever since the three Scions came to the Immortal Graveyard, they've been hunting down Su Yan's friends. Now that the three Scions had captured Luo Huaqing alive, it also represented their attitude. If they didn't kill these people, they wouldn't be in the mood to cultivate in seclusion. What three Scions? What Xiaoming? A drunk cultivator mumbled. They want to kill Su Yan's subordinates because they want to find some comfort. Back then, Su Xianren dominated the world and caused the sealed heaven region to suffer a great loss. Xiaoming was also beaten until he didn't dare to show his face. There are also the three Scions of the Primal Chaos Valley. During the Battle of the Primal Chaos Pagoda, the three Scions joined forces and lost miserably. Even if Su Xianren died in the Hell Palace, it doesn't mean that they haven't lost before. Shut up, you're drunk. Stop talking. Be careful that you don't even know how you died. You're spouting nonsense. I think you're tired of living. The surrounding people's expressions changed. Immediately, a group of people stood out to berate him. Some even turned around and left, not wanting to draw fire to themselves. Who dare to mention the past now? Times had changed. It was no longer the time when Su Yin dominated the world. Xiaoming and the others had once had a stain, but now, who could keep them in check? Who could suppress their edge? Faster, drag him out and kill him. A group of experts rushed out from the Kings of Kings Palace. Their expressions were unfriendly and full of coldness. They all rushed towards the drunken expert, wanting to kill him right outside the King's Palace. Boom! A loud sound suddenly exploded, startling all the creatures in the giant city. They all felt their scalps go numb. Who dared to use force here? Didn't they know that Xiaoming's grand breakthrough was about to begin? Who dared to ruin the upcoming grand meeting? Even Xiaoming, who was sitting cross-legged in his official residence and accumulating his foundation to break through to the next level, opened his cold eyes and looked at the destination. However, it was already too late when Xiaoming came out of seclusion. The entire king's palace collapsed. A huge energy explosion occurred in the void, spewing out a lot of blood and broken bones. A group of Qiuming's subordinates directly exploded into a mass of bloody light. The drunk expert trembled in fear, but he vaguely saw a terrifying figure. This made him surprised and happy. Was that person Su Xianren? Could it be that he had returned alive from the Hell Palace? The return of a king. Is he going to destroy the Golden Age? He sobered up and was instantly terrified. However, he didn't dare to stay for a moment longer and left the giant city. As for what happened in the king's palace, it shocked the nearby experts. This was the Myriad King's Palace, one of the official residences of the almighty Qiuming. But who was so tyrannical to directly start a massacre in the Myriad King's Palace and slaughter Qiuming subordinates? Something big is going to happen. The cultivators in the city trembled. Everyone could feel the killing intent emanating from Qiuming's official residence. The cold eyes of a peerless king who could swallow a great region, Qiuming, who was about to become a supreme expert, burst out with killing intent. He tried to stop the expert who left, but Su Yin had already disappeared without a trace. This matter caused a huge commotion in the city, causing the cultivators of the various clans to discuss behind their backs. The person who attacked is suspected to be related to Su Xianren's former subordinates. The impact of this matter was huge. The expressions of the cultivators in the city changed. Although Su Yan's lineage was about to collapse, the experts of this lineage were still ferocious. Only one of them was confirmed dead. Who attacked in the king's palace? Do they want to die? Bastard, if not for our clan's war god Qiuming being in seclusion, the attacker would not have been able to escape. Do Su Yan's former subordinates still want to cause trouble? Just wait and see. Once our clan's war god Qiuming enters the realm of supreme experts, they will all die. Roars echoed within the city. The experts of the Sealing Heaven region were furious. Who didn't know that this city belonged to Qiuming? Moreover, the grand meeting of the almighty experts was about to begin. Who would dare to use force here? Unfortunately, the attacker had already left and no traces could be found. No one knew who the attacker was. However, some people felt that a storm was coming. The third son took action and captured Luo Huaqing alive. He wanted to force Su Yan's former subordinates to go to the Chaos Dojo to take him back. Some people felt that Su Yan's former subordinates would kill their way to the Chaos Dojo. Was the final battle about to begin? Swoosh! Swoosh! A figure rushed out from the giant city. He seemed to be bathed in killing intent. His cold eyes cut through the void. You didn't dare to attack me back then. Now you're targeting my brother and even suppressing Huaqing. I'm going to start a massacre and slaughter all of you to prove my path as a king. Su Yan's hair danced in the wind. His entire body was emitting a ferocious aura. He was truly furious. His silent blood was boiling and roaring. He wanted to destroy the whole world. What third son? What Qiuming? I'll kill all enemies. Su Yan's essence, qi, and spirit were released. It was terrifying beyond compare. He wanted to start a massacre and kill all enemies. He was invincible. Let's get some invincible monthly votes to help Su Yan. Everyone, come to the Zongheng website to vote for Su Yan. Let's go crazy today. Chapter 1151. Su Yan's eyes were like torches, blazing and glaring. It was as if he could pierce through the vast space-time and see the entire primal chaos Tao field. Boom! His figure swooped down close to the earth, accompanied by waves of energy gales. He crushed the mountains and the earth, causing them to tremble. The energy fluctuations were too intense. Who is it? His movements are so astonishing. The passing cultivators were shocked when they saw someone crossing through space. They cried out involuntarily, "Is this an extreme king-level expert?" They gazed at this terrifying figure from afar. Su Yan's body was sticking close to the ground as he traversed. The earth had collapsed, and smoke and dust filled the sky. An indistinct figure was dashing at great speed and had already crossed over the horizon. The crowd was astonished. This energy storm was becoming more and more terrifying. They all felt that this was an extreme king-level expert. Su Yan's killing intent pierced through the 9 heavens and rushed to the end of the earth. The experts found it difficult to capture Su Yan's figure. Even if they tried to capture Su Yan, their divine senses would explode. Some of the old kings were scared out of their wits and said in shock, "This is an extreme, vicious person. His aura is too wild. I haven't seen such a terrifying expert for many years." Yes, even the 3 sons of primal chaos don't have such an astonishing, vicious aura. Who is this person? The killing intent he emits is enough to make me fall into an ice cellar. Cries of alarm echoed throughout this area. After all, many people believed that even the 3 sons didn't have such a terrifying killing intent. How many experts had he killed to be able to nurture such a savage killing intent? What kind of scene is that? It's unreal, too unreal. How can there be such a freakish expert? However, there was a cultivator with an extremely powerful divine sense whose voice was trembling. His entire body was drenched in sweat because he had seen the scene of killing intent surging from Su Yan's body. It was too frightening and made him feel that it was too unreal. Among them were the corpses of true dragons, Kuan Pongs, white tigers, and other heaven-defying creatures. When did such a ruthless person appear in this world? Even these heaven-defying creatures were killed. That was why he felt that it was too unreal. After all, supreme creatures like true dragons were already extinct in the cultivation world. Boom! When Su Yan's figure vanished over the horizon, everyone could see that at the end of the earth, that rapidly rushing figure had torn open a great space-time crack with his bare hands. His entire body rippled with terrifying cosmic airflow, so heavy that it was as if a million great mountains were revolving. Heavens, just where is he going? Doesn't he know that rashly opening a space-time tunnel will easily lead to death, or even getting lost in the space-time tunnel? These people cried out in alarm unceasingly. Su Yan tore open a great space-time crack with his bare hands. It was suspected that he was using it to hasten his journey. Such methods and abilities were beyond their imagination. What kind of person was he? To think that he actually possessed such a transcendent cultivation, even daring to tear open a huge space-time rift, and even using it to traverse space. Strictly speaking, this was the method of a mighty figure. However, Su Yan was different. He had received the baptism of the universe's origin. He had comprehended the majesty and mystery of the universe, and he had comprehended the universe's supreme great Tao. He had even merged with the universe's environment. Therefore, Su Yan could barely tear open a great space-time crack. Although the distance he traversed was incomparable to a mighty figure, the speed at which he did so was also astonishingly fast. Now, Su Yan only had one goal, and that was to rush to the primal chaos Tao right as soon as possible. He's already left. I don't know what he's going to do. With our cultivation, we can't see through the space-time tunnel at all. Just who is this person? Leaving in such a hurry, it seems like there's going to be a big fight. Some people were speechless. They couldn't help but feel that the immortal graveyard was truly a place with hidden dragons and crouching tigers. There were still some hidden experts in the world that had yet to appear. Now, the 3 sons of primal chaos dominated the primal chaos Tao, right, and looked down on the world. They were one of the strongest forces in the immortal graveyard. Ever since they had occupied this peerless Tao right, some powerful cultivators had joined their camp. In addition, the primal chaos valley had a shocking background, and there were many young, fierce generals in the valley. The current primal chaos Tao right truly had the qualifications to look down on the world. However, the news that came a few days ago attracted the attention of all the major forces. No one expected that the 3 sons of primal chaos had captured Luo Huaqing alive. This woman was the little princess of the Great Net dynasty. The primal chaos valley and the Great Net dynasty had always minded their own business. Emperor Nan had no enmity with the 3 sons of primal chaos. Now, in order to force out all of Su Yan's former subordinates and capture them all in one fell swoop, the 3 sons of primal chaos had actually captured Luo Huaqing alive. This matter had blown up, and the Great Net Dynasty would definitely be furious about it. But whether or not Emperor Nen would take action, the world couldn't come to a conclusion. After all, the three sons were like the sun in the midday sky, and they were in a hurry to eliminate Su Yan's former subordinates. If they were to cause trouble at this juncture, they would definitely be hated by the three sons. The primal chaos Tao rite was the strongest Tao rite that had been excavated in the immortal graveyard. The entire Tao rite covered an area of 1,000,000 miles and was filled with rich primal chaos fluctuations. There were even streams of primal chaos, heavenly essence that sputtered out. This kind of energy was of great help to cultivators in their cultivation. Inside the Tao rite that was shrouded in primal chaos chi, there were some huge Tao palaces and grand Tao platforms. The atmosphere here was dignified and the scene was spectacular. There were many experts in the Tao rite, and they all respected the three sons of primal chaos. However, the outside of the Tao rite was currently filled with killing intent that soared into the sky. Release her! Outside, people were shouting and horses were neighing as swords flashed. A group of old divine king from the Great Net Dynasty were entrenched in the Tao rite, wielding great killing weapons. Their eyes were wide with anger, and they couldn't wait to tear the entire Chaos Valley apart. They had captured Luo Huaqing alive, completely disregarding the Great Net Dynasty. Three sons of primal chaos, release her at once. Luo Tiandu growled as he wielded an imperial war spear. His entire body rippled with millions of layers of imperial draconic aura, and a divine king's might surged out. His eyes were bloodshot, and they were filled with the flames of anger. Luo Huaqing was his sister. Ha! Yuan's dared to cause trouble in my chaos Tao, right? Are you tired of living? The seventh son of primal chaos laughed angrily at the sky. A mere Great Net Dynasty dares to attack my Chaos Valley's territory. I think your Great Net Dynasty wants to be exterminated. The Chaos Valley wouldn't be afraid of an Overlord clan in the Outerverse. As long as it wasn't a taboo clan, they wouldn't be afraid at all. Moreover, they had captured a mere Luo Huaqing. Did they need to give an explanation to the Great Net Dynasty? Brother, don't worry about me. Hurry up and leave. A sobbing sound rang out from within the Chaos Tao rite. Luo Huaqing knew that they couldn't rescue her with their current strength. If they attacked the Chaos Tao rite, they would also pay with their lives. This was something Luo Huaqing didn't want to see. Chaos Valley, don't go too far. Luo Tiandu roared at the sky, and his aura erupted to its peak. His eyes were bloodshot as he stared at the Chaos Tao rite with a mournful gaze. The killing intent within his body couldn't help but roar. What a touching scene. The eighth son of primal chaos grabbed a woman's throat as he stood above the chaos. He was as cold as an immortal demon as he said, "If you want to blame someone, blame that cowardly coward, Su Yan. He's hiding in the Earth Palace and doesn't dare to come out. I've warned him before that if he provokes my Chaos Valley, I'll make everyone related to him die." You scoundrel. Luo Huaqing struggled with all her might, her beautiful eyes wide. She wasn't afraid, and she angrily cursed, "If you have the ability, then kill me. What kind of man are you? You're a descendant of the Chaos Valley, but what kind of man are you? Do you really think I don't dare to crush you to death?" The eighth son of Primal Chaos's face was cold and gloomy. He squeezed his hands so hard that he nearly crushed Luo Huaqing's throat. But Luo Huaqing wasn't afraid at all. She mocked, "You can't beat Su Yan, so you're targeting his former subordinates to find some comfort in your hearts. Let me tell you, Su Yan will come back. If he finds out that I died at your hands one day, none of you will have a good ending. He will avenge me. He definitely will. You scoundrel, I'll chop you to pieces." The eighth son of Primal Chaos was enraged. He raised his hand, wanting to smash Luo Huaqing's head to pieces. It was also right at this critical juncture that a streak of blazing radiance surged from the distant great earth. For a short period of time, divine light flourished, severing the void. This was a human-shaped bow. It was suddenly pulled back, making the boundless territory rumble. Boom! A resplendent light was born. An arrow forged from heaven's suppressing stone was released. It was like a true dragon of darkness that cut through the heavens and collapsed the primal chaos. It shot like lightning towards the eighth son of primal chaos's head. Kill! Luo Tiandu and the others roared in anger. They followed Yi Yuan's figure and charged towards the valley of primal chaos. I thought it was him. Luo Huaqing's entire body was riddled with wounds. Blood seeped out from the corners of her mouth. She clearly saw that it was Yi Yuan who had come, and her expression was somewhat dejected. But she quickly pulled herself together. She clenched her fists, and her beautiful eyes were filled with hatred and hope. She believed that Yi would come. One day, when she found out what had happened to her, she would definitely stand up for her. She definitely would. Very good, there's already a coward. I want to see how many of Su Yan's former subordinates are here. The others will probably come out one after another. Today, no matter how many people come to kill me, in short, you will all die here. The eighth son of primal chaos said coldly. He swung a large halberd and charged forward, blocking an arrow forged from heaven-suppressing stone that was coming at him. Sparks sputtered between heaven and earth. The two divine weapons collided, and a series of loud sounds rang out. The eighth son suppressed Luo Huaqing on the spot. He smiled cruelly. Bitch, I won't kill you first. I'll let you see with your own eyes that we kill all of Su Yan's former subordinates. I'll even let you live so that you can see how miserable Su Yan will be in the future. When the time comes, you will regret not killing me today. Luo Huaqing replied stubbornly. Bastard, kill them. The eighth son of primal chaos roared. Kill them all, leave none alive. Let them know who this golden age belongs to, whose era this is, whose world this is. Let them know the cruelty and truth of this era. The eighth son felt that if he didn't kill them all and eliminate Su Yan, some people would never wake up from their dreams. The entire primal chaos Taoist rite exuded a cold, murderous aura. The war had begun. Is it worth it to save one person? What are you saying? Not everyone is a cold-blooded animal. There were many onlookers in the distance. They were all shocked. This group of people had rushed in just like that. Perhaps they would never come out again. The three sons alone were enough to kill everyone present. The vitality of the Daluo Empire would most likely be greatly damaged. Fourth update, brothers. There's more tonight. Chapter 1152. Murderous light rippled in the Chaos Dojo. Yi Yuan and the Daluo dynasty experts came to the Chaos Dojo with anger. They didn't expect the Chaos Three Sons to be so shameless as to suppress a heavenly god-woman. Now Luo Huaqing was sealed on a dojo. This humiliation made Luo Tiandu's eyes widen. He roared, Brothers, kill! Kill! Boom! The Daluo dynasty rushed in with more than 10 divine kings. Together with the young divine King Luo Tiandu, the lineup was huge. Yi Yuan's ferocious aura was overwhelming. He was among the top experts and could fight with any of the three sons. To be honest, this lineup was huge and terrifying to the extreme. But the Chaos Dojo was the three sons' territory. There were many experts in the dojo, including dozens of divine kings. They were all very strong. Not to mention the three sons of chaos, the three peerless divine kings. They could be said to be ancient immortals and devils. They emitted the terrifying pressure of the river of time and space. They had lived for a long time, and each of them had accumulated a peerless foundation over the years. Now, only one of the 8 sons went out and blocked Yi Yuan. He smiled coldly. Let's see how many of you can come. In short, no matter how many you kill today, you will all die tragically here in the Chaos Dojo. Then let's fight. Yi Yuan roared at the sky. His messy hair danced. His entire body rippled with the might of the martial Tao. It was as if thousands of great Tao figures were stepping in space and time. They merged into one and formed a boundless phantom of a war god. Yi Yuan's combat power was terrifying. He could fight with any of the 3 sons. It was obvious how strong he was. Hence, The three sons were very interested in the inheritance Yuan had. To be able to rise in such a short time, he must have grasped a great fortune. Although the Daluo dynasty had many experts, they were facing the Chaos Dojo now. After a short period of time, bloody and cruel events occurred. A large number of elite soldiers died. Blood soaked the sky. One of the old divine, King Luo Huaqing, was almost beaten to death in a single exchange. Luo Huaqing's eyes turned red as he cried out, "Grandpa 11, please leave." "Ha ha, silly child, the Valley of Chaos is bullying us. If we don't stand up, the world will curse our great Luo Empire for not having a single man." An old prince laughed heartily. They were not afraid of death, since they dared to charge in at this time. Even if they all died in battle, these people wanted to die standing like men and not hide in the back to drag out an ignoble existence. The dignified little princess of the great Luo dynasty was captured. If she didn't even dare to let out a fart, the great Luo dynasty's reputation would be greatly damaged. Kill. Little princess, don't be afraid. We're here to save you. If we're going to die, we'll die together. Let's fight it out with them. If we kill one, we'll break even. If we kill two, we'll profit. Many soldiers roared furiously as they charged forward with the determination to perish together with the enemy and defend the dignity of the great Haven Law dynasty. They were a group of tigers and wolves. Their emotions were heroic. Even their master, the prince, had given up on life and death. What else could they not do? They charged forward in all directions, throwing their heads down and spilling their blood. Whoosh! A war spear pierced through the sky and pierced through a group of experts from the primal chaos Dao right. Luo Tiandu was bathed in blood as he looked at the suppressed Luo Huaqing with red eyes. He only had one thought in his mind, and that was to kill his way in and take his sister away. It was hard to find a cultivator who could stop Luo Tiandu. He had also cultivated a prehistoric inheritance. An emperor Dao dragon appeared behind him and pierced through the sky. It roared with its head held high, and the group of experts who were charging towards him were all sent flying. "Those who block me shall die." Luo Tiandu roared furiously as he killed the enemies in all directions and charged into the depths of the primal chaos Dao right. "Luo Tiandu, you dare to come here to die?" The seventh son of primal chaos suddenly swooped down. He had once lost the 9 heavenly flames, but the Valley of Primal Chaos Foundation was superb and had found new 9 heavenly flames for him. Now, the 9 heavenly flames had fused together and evolved into a chaotic flame that could burn heaven and earth. Buzz. The seventh son of Primal Chaos Divine might overflowed as he bathed in chaotic flames. He looked down at Luo Tiandu and said disdainfully, "I'm too lazy to kill you, you shameless boasting thing." Luo Tiandu roared angrily. His aura skyrocketed as he pointed his battle spear at the seventh son and roared, "Today, even if I, Luo Tiandu, die here, I will drag you down with me. Arrogant bug, I think you haven't woken up yet." The seventh son had the demeanor of a peerless expert. He raised his palm and pressed forward. The moment the chaotic flames around his palm erupted, a large hole was burned in the sky. His aura was too terrifying. This was a son of Taboo, the peerless divine king. He suppressed Luo Tiandu in a single exchange, and the millions of Emperor Dao draconic chi that erupted from his body collapsed and disintegrated. Even the innate draconic chi that he cultivated had a large crack under the burning of the chaotic flames. "Big brother," Luo Huaqing cried out involuntarily. He saw that the vast source of life in Luo Tiandu's body was being burned to the point of decline. If this continued, Luo Tiandu would be ground into a pile of ashes by the seventh son. "Kiki, you only have courage, but no strength." The seventh son of Primal Chaos looked down at Luo Tiandu and mocked. "You're very pitiful." These words were difficult for Luo Tiandu to bear, but no matter how strong he was, it was difficult to change anything. The power of the impasse, a boundless and vast divine power, came in an instant. Under the shocked gazes of the people, They saw the figure of an emperor among men materialize between heaven and earth, filled with endless majesty. You want to interfere? I advise you to think carefully. The seventh son of primal chaos's face was somewhat cold. This figure that crossed over with his hands behind his back was full of Emperor Dao draconic might. He said coldly, "My Daoyuo dynasty has been established for 1,000,000 years. Outsiders can't humiliate my dynasty's prestige. Otherwise, I'll kill without mercy." Emperor Nan. The group of old divine kings shouted uncontrollably, their eyes brimming with tears. They never thought that Emperor Nan would stand up. Even Luo Huaqing was a little dumbfounded. In her eyes, Emperor Nan was too hateful. He had always fought with her brother and suppressed Luo Tiandu. But now she felt that Emperor Nan had really become a young emperor of a generation. He had accumulated invincible momentum and was very majestic. It could be said that his divine might was monstrous. "Then I'll have to kill you." The seventh son of primal chaos smiled coldly. Why would he be afraid of Emperor Nan? "Brother, kill him and let him know the power of my Daoyuo dynasty." Luo Tiandu roared. Emperor Nan's expression was a little strange when he heard Luo Tiandu call him brother. He remembered that since he grew up, this was the first time he heard Luo Tiandu call him brother. "I'll do my best." Emperor Nan's aura was fully awakened. An Emperor Dao heavenly dragon was released, surging with vast energy fluctuations. The impact of the impact caused a huge energy explosion in the vast chaotic zone. Since he had stood up, the grudge between him and the Valley of Primal Chaos could not be resolved. Emperor Nan and the seventh son of Primal Chaos fought, causing the chaotic zone to flicker. The two powerhouses had invincible divine might, and it was difficult to tell who had the upper hand. At this critical juncture, the spectating experts lost their composure as they saw a dazzling ray of light tearing through the chaos. A white-robed figure dashed toward Luo Huaqing at high speed and reached out a jade-like hand to grab Luo Huaqing. Luo Huaqing was a little absent-minded. The woman who rushed over was very beautiful. There was a majesty in her holiness, and there was even an extremely terrifying, supreme aura. She was like a real fairy, and her snow-white body was vast and mighty with the power of the moon. "My prey has finally appeared. After so many years, I still haven't had a Dao companion. I think you're really not bad." On the Dao platform, a blurry figure suddenly appeared. His flesh shell was as heavy as a mountain of chaotic divine iron, emitting a suffocating fluctuation. Once it exploded, heaven and earth would crack, and even the sun and moon would become heavy. The aura was too heavy. Without a doubt, this was the strongest one, the fourth son of primal chaos. His battle prowess was superb, and the palm he raised was boundless, directly splitting open. Isiyun's expression changed slightly. Her jade-like hand reached out, and the power of the moon rose, colliding with the palm of the seventh son of primal chaos. Boom! It was as if two giant mountains were colliding, and it was filled with the sound of thunder. It was deafening, and it exploded in the ears of all living things. The faces of all the experts changed. The sacred body of Taiyin of the Tao Temple had come, but his realm was still low. Now, he was facing the fourth son of primal chaos, and he was suppressed in one move. Some people were suspicious. What was the relationship between the sacred body of Taiyin of the Tao Temple and Su Yan? Why would he stand out at this juncture? It was tantamount to directly opposing the Valley of Primal Chaos. A few years ago, the Tao Temple stood out for Su Yan in the Tower of Primal Chaos. Some people had suspected that the Tao Temple had a close relationship with Su Yan, and even guessed that the Tao Temple had secretly accepted Su Yan as a disciple. These people are actually here. Are they really not afraid of death? I admit that they are very strong, and Su Yan's remaining power is still terrifying, but can they really stop the three sons of Primal Chaos? There are even many of their subordinates in the Primal Chaos Tao Temple who have yet to make a move. The onlookers in the distance trembled. Once the battle is decided, a large number of people will die. However, some people felt that they might not necessarily fight to the death with the three sons of primal chaos. After rescuing Luo Huaqing, they might just retreat. It will be difficult for them to leave, let alone rescue him. The onlookers were frightened because 10 Divine King had walked out from the depths of the primal chaos Tao Temple. They were all experts of the sealed heaven region. There are so many people here today. Yes, it's so lively. A dead Su Yin still has such rallying power, but his remaining power should dissipate soon. The experts of the sealed heaven region laughed one after another. In fact, they had not made a move, but this group of people did. They sealed the primal chaos Tao Temple with a method of sealing the sky and decimating the earth. Our tribe's luck has changed. God of War Qiuming is about to enter the realm of Almighty. Then cut off some heads and give them to God of War Qiuming. I think it will be the best gift. Ha ha! The experts of the sealed heaven region laughed. They had sealed the entire primal chaos Tao Temple, and the internal fighting was becoming more and more desperate. A large number of elite soldiers had fallen. The three sons of primal chaos were also fighting against Yi Yuan, Emperor Nan, and Yi Yun. The 6 experts fought until the heavens fell and the earth rent. However, the 3 sons of primal chaos Tao Temple had extraordinary foundations. If this continued, only Emperor Nan and the other 2 would be able to hold on. Is Su Yan's lineage going to be completely destroyed? Many of the onlookers felt a headache. Just as they were discussing, all of a sudden, their hair stood on end. They felt that a terrifying existence was coming from afar. The leaking divine aura filled the air, and these people could not help but tremble. It was difficult for them to muster the courage to look back and see who had come. The 7 sons of primal chaos Tao Temple actually came back to life and crushed his bones. Can he still live? A cold voice sounded, causing the onlookers here to tremble with fear. Then they saw a figure who seemed to be dominating the bloody earth and leading the endless slaughter. A familiar person had returned, causing their scalps to explode. Su Xianren, who had disappeared for 5 or 6 years, had actually come from afar. Now he was infinitely close to the primal chaos Tao Temple. 5th update. It's time for dinner. See you tomorrow. Chapter 1153. The aura of the sealing sky decimating earth filled the air, forcefully sealing off the entire primal chaos Tao field. This was equivalent to cutting off Yi Yuan's escape route. The Divine King of the 10 Sealing Skies region didn't make a move. He sat cross-legged in the air and watched the show. Ever since Su Yin entered the Hall of Earth, the Sealing Skies region had lost a thorn in their heart. Seeing that Su Yan's old subordinates were about to be uprooted, they all laughed heartily. Kill! The battle in the primal chaos Tao field raged. This was a battle with their backs against the wall. There was no way out. Many Daluo dynasty soldiers directly fought with their lives on the line. They knew that they couldn't kill their way out, so they might as well fight to their heart's content. However, from the depths of the Tao field, a group of experts with terrifying auras rushed out. Ruin sneered. Killing one is enough? How laughable. Kill them all and uproot Su Yan's lineage. Ha ha ha, kill them. A large group of experts rushed out from the depths of the Tao field. They were all laughing. Once this battle ended, would they still have enemies in the immortal graveyard? Su Xianren had suddenly returned from the Hall of Earth. With his strength alone, what could he change? The 6 experts fought a bloody battle. Emperor Nan faced the 7th son of primal chaos. Yi Yun faced the 4th son of primal chaos. And Yi Yuan faced the 8th son of primal chaos. The 6 experts fought fiercely, but anyone could see clearly that the 3 sons of primal chaos had an extraordinary foundation. They were already standing at the peak of the Divine King's domain. If this continued, Yi Yuan's group would definitely lose. The 3 sons of primal chaos are really terrifying. Any one of them has an invincible might. That's Emperor Nan. Back then, the 7 sons were killed by Su Xianren, but now it's difficult for Emperor Nan to suppress the 7 sons. Back then, during the battle in the Primal Chaos Pagoda, the 7 sons had their hands and feet tied. However, The situation is different now. The seal in their bodies has been lifted, and their battle strength has increased by a level. They are stronger than before. It's impossible for Emperor Nan to suppress the seven suns. He might even be suppressed by them. There's also the Tao Temple's extreme insane physique. Her realm is too low. If her realm could catch up, I reckon she could compete with the four suns. It's a little strange. The mysterious woman who helped Su Yan's former subordinates many times has not appeared. Could it be that she already feels that Su Yan's former subordinates are about to be finished, so she did not come to help? The Primal Chaos Dojo covered an area of 1,000,000 miles. There were spectators everywhere, expressing their opinions. The situation was clear now. The Sealing Heaven region had sealed the entire dojo. In less than half a day, the battle would be one-sided. In an area extremely far away from Primal Chaos Dojo, this was the territory of the heavenly bamboo lineage. The most eye-catching thing was a Tao right with a grand atmosphere. It was as if it was suspended at the peak of the nine heavens. It was as if a great region of the heavens was operating, and it was suffused with world-shocking fluctuations. Inside the Tao field, many sky bamboo experts smiled. They saw that Song Tian's body had merged with the Tao. His Dharma power was overwhelming, and he was full of peerless majesty. Bamboo Moon is also very strong. However, the relationship between Bamboo Moon and Su Yan is too deep. We can't let her go out in the next few days. A few old men from the Sky Bamboo branch frowned and said, at this moment, Song Tian was suppressing a peerless beauty. You stay here. You can't go to the Primal Chaos Tao field. You have better choices in the future. Why get involved in this mess? Song Tian's divine power was boundless. He was like a son of the heavens, resonating with the great Tao of heaven. His aura resonated with the Tao field. This made Song Tian's aura even more terrifying. It was close to the half-step almighty realm. The third sons have already seen through your identity. I'm here to stop you. You shouldn't be participating in this battle at this juncture. You're bringing disaster to our clan. You're truly shameless. You're using the environment here to suppress me. If we were to fight one-on-one, you might not be able to defeat me. Bamboo Moon's expression was cold. She didn't expect Song Tian to control the Tao field to this extent. Song Tian could use the Tao field to quickly accumulate a king's foundation. He was very close to the almighty realm. The Primal Chaos three sons are already strong enough. Moreover, the strongest, the Primal Chaos first son, hasn't come out yet. Su Yan's lineage is already on the verge of collapse. Song Tian's expression was cold as he said, your participation won't change anything. Su Yan's era is over. He can't even come out of the Earth Palace, let alone compete with the strongest geniuses in the future. He dares to risk his life in the Earth Palace and fight for his clan. Do you dare? Bamboo Moon's jade-like hands clenched as she mocked. You're trying to trip us up and help the Primal Chaos three sons to kill Su Yan's friends. You're truly shameless. Song Tian frowned when he heard this. His dignified aura spread out as he said coldly, the immortal graveyard is the ultimate land of fortune. In the future, I will stand up and fight for it. The almighty realm is already very close to me. As for Su Yan, he's just a dead man. Don't be so stubborn. Moreover, Qiuming will soon enter the almighty realm. You should think about your future. Song Tian's words caused the elders in the clan to nod in agreement. If Bamboo Moon could walk together with Qiuming, it would be greatly beneficial to their clan. There were also some elders who sighed. The clan's actions were unfair to Bamboo Moon, not to mention Qiuming. However, she really couldn't participate in the matters of the Primal Chaos Valley. Su Yan was already dead. There was no need to fall out with the Primal Chaos Valley because of Su Yan's former subordinates. Bamboo Moon didn't say a word as she waved her palm. She didn't believe that Song Tian was so freakish that he could control the energy of the entire Tao field. Since you're so stubborn, I can only suppress you. When Su Yan's former subordinates are all dead, you'll wake up. Song Tian's expression was cold. It was enough for the Sky Bamboo to have another young supreme being. He didn't need a second one. Bamboo Moon's potential made him apprehensive. He wanted to suppress Bamboo Moon and suppress her here for a period of time. Rivers of blood had already flowed in the primal chaos Tao field. Too many people had died, nursing grievances in the primal chaos Tao field. I'll help you cut off the path. You kill your way over. Luo Tiandu roared furiously as he blocked the group of God Kings. Now, the only way was to bring Luo Huaqing away. Only then would they be able to consolidate their forces and carve out a bloody path to escape from the primal chaos Tao field. Otherwise, it was very likely that they would all perish here. Boom! Luo Dali transformed into a savage divine king. His strength was boundless, and the blood essence in his body soared into the heavens. His jet-black fist gushed out with a grand aura as he forcefully hammered open a crack that spanned tens of thousands of miles. Luo Dali used the heaven-breaking fist to forcefully open a path of blood. He smashed a large number of cultivators to death as he charged towards Luo Huaqing. Although there were people who tried to stop him, Dali's strength was heaven-defying. He crazily slaughtered his way through, looking down on everyone. Dali was a fierce general. Unless a peak character of the younger generation intervened, no one would be able to block Dali's world-shaking strength. Those who block me shall die. Luo Dali's body glowed. His violent blood essence surged as he slaughtered his way through, leaving corpses everywhere. But he also suffered heavy blows. There were too many enemies. His huge body trembled as blood sprayed out from many hideous wounds. His body staggered from time to time, but at other times, he was extremely courageous. Boom! The slaughter in the entire primal chaos Tao field became a great deal more violent. The three sons wanted to separate themselves to resist Luo Dali, but Emperor Nan and the others were also defending their dignity. If they couldn't even block a single son of primal chaos and couldn't even save Luo Huaqing, then their defeat in this battle would be too miserable. The entire primal chaos Tao field was trembling as blood dyed the skies. The peak powerhouses of the younger generation were roaring as they fought with their strongest trump cards. Many officers and soldiers spilled their blood as they lost their lives. Many spectators were silent. If Su Yan returned and raised his arm, what kind of grand occasion would that be? The three sons of primal chaos alone wouldn't be able to stir up too much of a storm. They could all see how powerful Yi Yuan and Yi Xiyan were. What they lacked was time, not potential. As long as they had enough time, they would definitely be able to soar into the sky. This was also the reason why the three sons of primal chaos were in such a hurry to kill them. Su Yan's rallying power was quite astonishing, so they had to eliminate some of his trusted subordinates. Otherwise, if Su Yan really miraculously returned from the Hall of Earth, then the problem would be terrible. Kiki, what's the use of risking your life like this? Your courage is praiseworthy. Go to hell. The powerhouses of the primal chaos valley laughed loudly as they slaughtered the tens of thousands of elite soldiers of the Great Net Empire. There were also some who chased after Luo Dali to break his legs and let him know what kind of power the primal chaos valley was. Some of the soldiers were already in despair. The 10 divine king of the Sealing Heaven region hadn't even made a move, but they were already suppressed to the point where they couldn't raise their heads. If they continued to stand here, they would all die here. Even Luo Tiandu had suffered heavy injuries. Facing a group of divine kings combined suppression, he really couldn't hold on much longer. Yi Xiyan's aura was flickering. She had encountered the strongest fourth son of primal chaos. Even someone as strong as her, who had the extreme insane physique, was now bleeding from the corner of her mouth because of the peerlessly powerful fourth son of primal chaos. She was almost unable to withstand the strongest fourth son of primal chaos. This battle isn't just for me. Luo Huaqing's eyes were filled with tears. She recalled some of the past. If De Yong and Li were just ordinary fierce generals, they would probably always be by her side to protect her. It's for the glory of the past. Luo Huaqing's delicate body trembled slightly. Su Yan had once commanded the primal chaos ruins, looked down on the reincarnation universe with disdain, and fought against the three sons of primal chaos. That was the supreme glory, a glory that couldn't be changed. Now, Li and the others stood up and fought with their lives for the glory of the past. Su Yan's prestige couldn't be disgraced. He was indeed at the peak of glory. Although there was no trace of him in the Golden Age, they always believed that Su Yan would return. I think I saw him. Is this an illusion? Luo Huaqing was a little confused. She vaguely saw a figure rushing into the sealed primal chaos dojo. His aura was too strong. Even in the state of sealing sky, decimating earth, he forcibly broke open a big crack with a wild posture. He opened a big space-time crack that led to the dojo. Who dares to court death here? The 10 great divine kings of the sealed heaven region flew into a rage. They were like 10 blazing suns filling the sky. They were suffused with energy that could seal the heavens and destroy the earth. Moreover, each of them extended a large hand and covered the shadow that had rushed into the Tao field. Just as the 10 huge hands were about to touch him with the sealing power, Lin Feng's eyes widened. However, a terrifying scene was born. Even the spectators in the distance were shocked. A large number of cultivators were completely out of control and were sent flying. Who is it? They were trembling in fear. Then they saw an unbelievable scene. The 10 big hands of the divine king exploded in an instant. This was an unimaginable source of power. It was as if the sea of a universe had been released. It emitted energy that was more turbulent than the ocean. Boom! In an instant, the sun and moon set. The mountain range rumbled. Because of his arrival, the entire primal chaos dojo surged and rushed into the sky. That figure was blazing to the extreme. It was like billions of silent universes. When he woke up, he was filled with an incomparable majesty. He was also vast and mighty. The ominous light that suppressed millions of miles was about to tear the whole world apart. Who is that? The divine kings who were watching the battle were all trembling, because they felt a type of true, unmatched power within his body that was irreversible. It was as if he had previously been unmatched in time and space, unmatched in the entire world. He was actually this terrifying. Roar! Su Yan's long black hair was scattered. He looked up to the sky and roared. It was as if he had swallowed the whole universe. As he roared, the world trembled. One after another, the divine king's figures distorted and exploded. Chapter 1154. His world-shaking divine might was indescribable. The sealed heaven region had always been powerful since ancient times. The divine king of this race was naturally powerful. He had grasped prehistoric inheritances and possessed extraordinary combat strength. The Bodhidharma that the 10 great divine kings sealed off together collapsed. A figure streaked across the horizon, appearing on stage in a shocking manner. He raised his head to the sky and roared loudly, killing one divine king powerhouse after another with his roar. The world found it hard to imagine such divine might. Everyone was dumbfounded. These were all divine king experts. No matter which race they belonged to, they could be called great experts. They were almost invincible divine king experts. However, the 3 divine kings exploded one after another. They couldn't withstand the might of that person's roar at all. His roar shook a corner of the universe and suppressed the 10 divine kings until they lost their luster. The other divine kings were all seriously injured and vomited blood. They were relatively far away from Su Yan, so they weren't directly killed. However, they were still seriously injured and their eyes were filled with fear. They felt that a supreme expert had come to kill them. Otherwise, why would he be so abnormal? Although Su Yan wasn't a divine king yet, his situation was extremely special. He was bathed in the origin of the universe, and his grasp of the universe's great Tao wasn't inferior to a peak divine king. He even had a Tao heart that surpassed the past and reached the level of supreme experts. Moreover, Su Yan had fought bloody battles in the Earth Palace for 5 years. Su Yan's battle constitution was transforming day by day and becoming more and more terrifying. His realm couldn't be used to measure him at all. In terms of Tao arts, he wasn't inferior to a peak divine king. His physical body was also stronger than ordinary divine king experts. Even his primordial spirit was at the level of a peak king. In addition to Su Yan's imposing manner, that unchangeable, invincible momentum dominated the entire place for a time, shocking everyone to the point their hair stood on end, and they felt that an invincible, ferocious person had returned. Who on earth is that? The onlookers turned pale. This sudden change was too shocking. A wild war god had come just like that. He was unbelievably powerful. Was he going to turn the tide and change the situation of the battlefield? Yuan, who was fighting the eighth sun, had blood dripping from the corner of his mouth. He let out a low laugh. In the past, I've encountered many desperate situations and felt that I was going to die. I always thought that Su Yan would make a dazzling appearance and come out of the Earth Palace. He didn't come out of those desperate situations, but I made it through each time. I'm still alive, and I'm stronger. I'm not seeing things right now, and I'm not dreaming either. He's really returned. The words that came out of Yuan's mouth were rather unclear. Even though the eighth son of chaos didn't know what Yuan was mumbling about, however, he heard Su Yan's name. The nightmare that had destroyed their confidence in the primal chaos pagoda had returned. This is impossible. The eighth son of chaos lost control and roared. Su Yan had gone to the Earth Palace, the land of death. He couldn't have come out of the Earth Palace alive. Even if he, Su Yan, had created some sort of miracle and really managed to kill his way out of the Hell's Hall, he would not have been able to do so in a short 5 years. This was too illogical. How had he done it? It's him, Emperor Nan, who was fighting the seventh son, frowned. He was the emperor of his generation and was filled with imperial dragon might. He was like a young emperor. But at this moment, he was also shocked. He knew that he couldn't be as barbaric and domineering as Su Yan. But if the once invincible Su Xianren really came back alive from the Earth Palace, it would be too terrifying. It would be a storm that would sweep through the entire immortal graveyard and rewrite the overall situation of the immortal graveyard. Had an expert who once looked down on the world returned? Who are you? The 7 divine kings of the sealed heaven region roared angrily. They also had young almighties who were about to emerge, so they weren't particularly afraid of the mysterious expert. However, they didn't think that Su Yan had returned. The Earth Palace was a land of death. He couldn't have come out. Buzz. Su Yan directly stretched out his hand. It was a huge golden palm, grand and peerless. The moment it pressed down, it was as if a corner of the universe had been covered. It was powerful and peerless. It was like a peerless technique of an almighty, controlling a corner of the universe and commanding the world. No, Su Yan's huge palm instantly enveloped the 2 divine kings. They trembled. The divine king's body began to crack uncontrollably. In the end, they let out heart-wrenching screams and a kind of fear. They were in despair. Was he still human? Su Yan's domain was so grand that it was on the level of an almighty. He could even easily control a corner of the universe. Was he still human? Bang, bang. Su Yan's palm directly exerted force and crushed the bodies of the 2 divine kings. This tyrannical technique caused a storm to erupt. Many soldiers of the great Luo dynasty shouted excitedly, "Invincible, invincible, invincible! Invincible divine courage! Invincible divine courage!" Their emotions surged as they roared continuously. This technique had convinced them and made them admire him. This was a true overlord, a symbol of invincibility. He killed the divine kings like killing chickens. He suppressed a corner of the universe with a raise of his hand and suppressed the divine kings. This was a peerless and invincible technique. It made them roar in succession and prostrate themselves in admiration of Su Yan. Who the hell are you? The 5 divine kings of the sealed heaven region who were still alive were terrified. They were all trembling and kept a distance from Su Yan. Just now, 5 divine kings had died without even causing a ripple. They died just like that, and they didn't even know who it was that had come. Su Yan's essence, energy, and spirit were too different from before. These years had changed so much that some people who were familiar with him couldn't be sure whether he was Su Yan or not. At this moment, his pair of cold eyes also stared at the eighth son of primal chaos, who was closest to him. This gaze was dark, deep, and ice-cold. It was a gaze that viewed even supreme beings as ants. This made the eighth son of primal chaos a little angry, but soon his scalp tingled and a trace of fear flashed in his eyes. He felt that this person was definitely Su Yin, a god of war who had broken out of seclusion in the land of death. Boom! When his figure crossed the sky and pierced through the Tao field, it was as if the disappeared imperial star had returned. His boundless aura erupted and rushed towards the eighth son of primal chaos. Under the shocked gazes of all around, the eighth son of primal chaos turned around and fled. Everyone was stunned and doubted life. He was a son of primal chaos, the descendant of a taboo, but now he was running away without caring about his face. This was a sign that he had lost his fighting spirit and hope. Then what kind of enemy was he facing? Why was he so weak? He ran away before the fight even started. Could it be some of the onlookers in the distance were agitated and had goosebumps all over their bodies? Could it be that the disappeared Su Xianren had returned? The invincible one they had once revered had charged out from the land of death. It's him. It's definitely him. These people roared uncontrollably. They all saw this figure. It was grand and peerless, as if it filled the entire starry sky of the universe. He had come, crossing into the primal chaos Tao field. The void exploded, bringing with it an incomparable pressure, a ferocious might that could slaughter tens of thousands of supreme beings. It was enough to suppress everything. The eighth master of primal chaos' fleshly body blazed and instantly erupted with power. This was because he had caught hold of an unstoppable force that he had to resist. Otherwise, it was very likely that he would be killed by Su Yin in a single exchange. Wang. The eighth son's body blazed, silver light coiling around his body, releasing an immortal might. This couldn't help but make people tremble. The son of primal chaos began to fight with his life on the line as soon as he made his move. He ignited the power of his bloodline and erupted with the strongest source of power. A huge figure appeared behind him, as if it was a supreme god overlooking the universe. Primal chaos, space-time technique. The eighth son of primal chaos roared and channeled his strongest power. He covered his entire body with the power of his ancestral blood. His palms erupted with indistinct, immortal light, instantly striking toward the figure that was crossing over to stop him. "Be careful," Yuan shouted, warning Su Yin because this energy was very strange. He had been seriously injured by this substance many times and had no choice but to flee. Now, the eighth son of primal chaos was releasing his ancestral blood in full force. He was going to fight with his life on the line. Boom! This attack was extremely powerful, suppressing the heaven and earth until they became dim and lightless. It was filled with a kind of world-destroying storm. Even Emperor Nan was a bit pale and his expression was a bit gloomy, but he quickly pulled himself together. He knew very well that this was a congenital gap, but it could also be made up for later on. Each of the sons of primal chaos had taboo bloodlines and even inheritances. They were really too powerful. If they really fought with their lives on the line, they could launch a shocking attack and destroy the enemy. This was the most terrifying thing about the sons of primal chaos. Kill! Su Yan's figure was tall and strong. He directly threw out a punch. It seemed calm, but in fact, it caused the universe to roar. His body glowed and erupted with the power of the universe. The fist and the palm collided. What was shocking was that the eighth son of primal chaos's body trembled violently and was about to collapse. Blood spurted out of his pores as he was about to shatter. But at this critical moment, the taboo bloodline burned and covered his body, stabilizing his falling body. It also condensed a vague, immortal power and bombarded Su Yan's invincible body. Kill! Su Yan let out a long roar with peerless courage. It seemed that he was going to slaughter true dragons, destroy the entire chaotic world, suppress all turmoil, and dominate the world. It was a shocking scene. The entire Taoist field of primal chaos was trembling because of his roar. This was the return of a king. Everyone could clearly see that his moves were simple and domineering. He threw out 3 punches in a row, bombarding the silver immortal matter in the sky into pieces. Even the giant figure condensed behind the 8th son of primal chaos, like a supreme god looking down on heaven and earth, began to distort and collapse under Su Yan's unparalleled fist aura. I'll be invincible in the future. Not even the taboo bloodline can do anything to me. Su Yan roared furiously. His black hair danced, and his eyes were like torches swallowing the stars. The taboo bloodline's vague body completely exploded. The 8th son of primal chaos was directly shattered by Su Yan's roar and collapsed into a mass of blood. The silver bloodline in the sky was completely annihilated. There's more tonight. I'll add more today. Chapter 1155. Old 8. The 4th son's expression changed drastically, and he almost couldn't breathe. He roared uncontrollably, as if venting his fear and also as if roaring out the grievances in his heart. He saw with his own eyes that the 8th son of chaos had his body shattered by Su Yan's roar. Even his taboo bloodline had been blasted apart by the roar. This was a scene of his body and soul being destroyed, and even divine medicines couldn't extend his life. The 4th son of chaos felt his heart dripping blood, and his entire body trembled. Old 9 had died, and now Old 8 had died as well. They were the children of taboo of the Valley of Chaos, and now 2 great taboos had died, and their fates were so miserable. Moreover, this was a killing trap they had set up, and they wanted to kill all of Su Yan's former subordinates. But what was going on now? Who was the powerhouse that had appeared? He could actually roar to death the 8th son of chaos in such a supreme manner, and even completely crush him in the process. When did the sons of chaos become so weak? Could it be that the lives of all the geniuses in the new era were as cheap as paper, including them? The 8th son of chaos has died, roared to death. The onlookers all trembled, and waves of fear rose up in their hearts. Their hair stood on end, and they felt that something big was about to happen. The 8th son had died tragically. So could the other 2 survive? If 4 of the 9 sons of chaos of the Valley of Chaos died one after another, then the Valley of Chaos Forbidden Zone would most likely go crazy. After all, it was the sons of chaos that had died. The gods were all frightened. Could it be that person had really returned? Otherwise, how could his methods be so tyrannical? It's you're still alive, still alive. The 8th son's primordial spirit was still alive, and he wanted to flee. He was scared out of his wits. Facing Su Yan now was like facing the 1st son of chaos, and he couldn't summon any courage. People like him had all walked the great path of invincibility, and what he respected was his strongest battle prowess, and he viewed everything else as ants. It's really Su Xianren. Everyone was in an uproar, and all living beings fell into shock. Someone lost control and roared. Su Xianren killed his way out of Hell's palace hall alive. How'd he do it? This is unbelievable. Even the great beings of my race determined that Su Yin would undoubtedly die, but he created a miracle and killed his way out of Hell's palace hall alive. Inconceivable. How'd he do it? What kind of legacy did he obtain from the Hall of Hell? The entire place erupted into an uproar. Too many people felt disbelief as they looked at that terrifying figure. Even someone as powerful as the 8th child of primal chaos was crushed to the point where he couldn't even raise his head. In the end, his flesh collapsed, and his evolved primordial spirit released a cry of despair. This guy, Yin revealed a charming smile. Her snow-white skin emitted the sacred power of the moon. She originally thought that they would all fight to the death here, but now, Su Yin had arrived. He had even begun to turn the tide. Boom! Su Yin raised his hand, grabbed Ba Zi's primordial spirit, and crushed it. Such decisive and domineering methods shocked everyone under the heavens. The 8th son had killed without a word. He was now even more like an immortal devil than the 3rd son. Perhaps this was the embodiment of true invincibility. He treated all chosen as ants, and all enemies were crushed. My lord, the primal chaos Tao field was in chaos. Too many living beings let out miserable cries. The eighth son's tragic death was unbearable for them. Even their hearts were overflowing with fear. The children of Taboo being killed and crushed made them lose their faith. Their fighting spirit was greatly damaged. Some people even fled. Most of them were experts who had followed the third son of primal chaos these days. In their hearts, Su Xianren was a nightmare. Even if the era returned to the era, he was still a nightmare. The current Su Xianren was even more terrifying than before. De Yong, he's changed, Luo Huaqing murmured. The current Su Yin was different from before. He was as cold as an immortal devil. He went on a killing spree, and every move was fatal. He completely swept through the entire battlefield, exuding the mentality of killing everyone in the world. In the past 5 years, they didn't know what Su Yin had experienced in the Hall of Hell, but it must have been very difficult. Just by looking at his invincible spirit and willpower, they could see that it was completely forged from iron and blood. It was filled with terrifying killing power. Heavenly gods were so weak that they couldn't even withstand a single blow from him. They were like scarecrows. Who could stop Su Yin? He swept through the entire battlefield, killing in the primal chaos Tao field until rivers of blood flowed and mountains of corpses were piled up. Wherever he passed, corpses and blood splattered everywhere. The entire Tao field was about to be destroyed by Su Yin. The divine power erupting from his body was endless. With a roar, mountains and rivers could be shattered. The chaos that filled the sky collapsed, accompanied by blood and shattered bones. He's a devil king. Let's go. The enemies were scared out of their wits and fled in large numbers. This made the fourth son roar angrily. He broke away from Emperor Nan and pounced on Su Yin. If he continued to kill, they would become generals without an army. There would be no one they could use as subordinates. I don't believe that you're really invincible. The fourth son's aura erupted to the extreme. His body steamed with blurry immortal light. His flesh shell was originally extremely hard, as if it was forged from chaos divine iron. It could be said that it was indestructible. Even supreme treasures would find it difficult to damage it. Boom! The fourth son of primal chaos rushed over madly. He used a world-shaking, great divine ability as soon as he attacked. His entire fist vibrated with the power of chaos. It was incomparably grand and contained the supreme profound of time. It smashed towards Su Yan's face to stop his crazy actions. However, under the horrified eyes of everyone present, Su Yan's fist blasted forward. It was majestic and imposing, exuding a domineering aura. Boom! His fist blasted through the sky. Its power was peerless. There was also a vision accompanying him. Everyone saw the scene of the true dragon exploding and the Kuan Peng being shattered. This bloody and cruel vision enveloped every inch of the void. He was invincible. Kill! Su Yin roared. His fist radiance was matchless. Without any fancy moves, it pierced through the dome of heaven. He wanted the divine king more than the divine king. He could be said to be the highest god among gods. With a fist, the mountains and seas rumbled. The wilderness rose and fell. The huge primal chaos, Tao, field rumbled, as if everything in the world was heading towards destruction. How can he be so strong? A large number of living beings in all directions cried out miserably. They were hit by the surging shockwaves and suffered heavy injuries. Some of the divine king's bodies were on the verge of breaking apart. Their hearts were filled with fear. They weren't facing a human, but an invincible war god who had once slaughtered his way through the world. Just the divine light radiating from Su Yan's fist alone had already cut through the flesh of many cultivators. Even the spiritual willpower that leaked out was about to grind their souls, crush their spiritual willpower, and pierce through their everything. A large number of cultivators coughed up blood and cried out miserably. What kind of fist technique is this? The experts who were watching from the outside trembled. Could it be that Su Yan had obtained some kind of prehistoric inheritance and obtained an earth-shattering, great divine ability? The Peerless Fist radiance had yet to be released, but the radiance that leaked out was already enough to make a large number of cultivators submit to him. Boom! Under the astonished gazes of the people, they saw the indestructible fist of the fourth son of Chaos collide with Su Yan's fist. His entire arm exploded. That was the fourth son of Chaos, whose body was indestructible. In the end, his arm was shattered by Su Yan in a single exchange. Even Emperor Nan was getting goosebumps. How could this ruthless person become so ridiculous? Ah, the fourth son of Chaos cried out miserably. His entire body was sent flying. His aura was declining in a straight line. It was as though he had aged 1,000 years. He fell to the ground and found it difficult to get up. The fourth son of Chaos seemed to have had his Taoist heart crushed. His arm was shattered. His expression was somewhat wooden, and he was mumbling faintly. How could this be? How could this be? The fourth son of Chaos was trembling. Su Yan's fist seemed to have pierced through his life and shattered his confidence. There was a trace of despair in his eyes. It was difficult for him to walk out of the shadow of this fist. Just now, when he was clashing with Su Yan's fist, he could feel that Su Yan's body contained an unparalleled and magnificent energy that was unparalleled in the world. Once this great power was unleashed, he would die completely. However, Su Yan did not unleash it at all. This was a form of disdain. He had not reached the point where Su Yan could unleash the universal fist. In this world, only the strongest heroes were qualified for Su Yan to unleash the universal fist and kill them. Everyone present was silent. The fourth son could not even withstand a single blow from Su Yan. The world dimmed. Only Su Yan dominated the world and looked down on everyone present. His pair of cold eyes were like killing swords, shooting out a cold light. He walked forward step by step. The will that permeated his body was even more shocking. With a single thought, he could slaughter millions of lives and look down on the entire world. This was the embodiment of being supreme in the world. This was the strongest spiritual will. The fourth son was in despair. There was fear in his heart. He did not dare to face Su Yan. Swoosh! Suddenly, the seventh son swooped down and pulled the fourth son away, quickly retreating with him. Everyone thought that the seventh son would escape, but no one expected him to appear on the platform. He raised his hand and grabbed Luo Huaqing's throat. He growled at Su Yan. "If you dare take another step forward, I'll crush her throat." The seventh son knew very well that he could not escape. There was no way he could escape from Su Yan's palm. Therefore, Luo Huaqing was his life-saving straw. He had to grab hold of her. Otherwise, they would all die here. Huaqing. Luo Tian was uneasy. He was afraid that Su Yan would force them into a corner and drag Luo Huaqing down with him. The onlookers were frightened. What was this? The seventh son was completely scared out of his wits. He did not dare to face Su Yan and could only threaten him with a woman. Su Yan's cold eyes fell on the tearful Luo Huaqing. A kind of spirit emerged from his whole body. He was no longer as cold as before. Hell was cruel. Only by risking everything to survive could one truly live. The world was full of warmth. Whether it was love or hate, only then could one be human. Let her go. Su Yan was like a king descending upon the world. His voice was like thunder. I can spare your life. Su Yan, leave immediately. Don't worry, I won't kill Luo Huaqing. But if you don't leave, she will die. I swear it. The seventh son's face was ferocious. Fourth brother had been beaten out of his will to fight. He could only rely on this method to save himself. He really swore that he would not hurt Luo Huaqing. As long as Su Yan and the others left, he would immediately release her. He would not make things difficult for Luo Huaqing. Why aren't you leaving? The seventh son growled. He was truly in despair. The figure standing in front of him seemed calm, but in reality, the seventh son of Chaos was suffocating. He was in despair and had lost the courage to fight. He only wanted to escape and never face him again. Go! The seventh son was on the verge of losing control. He began to tighten his grip. Luo Huaqing was suffocating, and her throat was about to tear. She struggled. "Why aren't you leaving?" The seventh son roared. He wanted nothing more than to crush Luo Huaqing to death. But he did not dare. That pair of cold eyes kept staring at him. They were as dark as the universe, making him panic. It was unbearable. He was about to lose control. "Since you won't let her go, I'll beat you to death." Su Yin suddenly took a step forward. In an instant, his figure was a little blurry. Heaven and earth were also a little dim. Wisps of terrifying aura were born. It was as if the great Tao of the universe was pulsing. It was as if heaven and earth were changing paths. People realized that Su Yin had disappeared. It was as if he had turned into the universe. The entire world was filled with his furious will. It was as if the celestial emperor had issued a decree. It made the seventh son of chaos tremble. He wanted to kneel down and worship him. A terrifying spiritual pressure caused the seventh son's eyes to turn black. He really wanted to submit. Spiritual intimidation. Emperor Nan was shocked. A mighty person's spirit could intimidate the divine king, but Su Yin could do it. Then, he speculated that the Hall of Hell's fate was worse than death. Emperor Nan thought that the seventh son would lose control and be intimidated into submission. But the critical moment, the bloodline in the seventh son's body burned. It seemed to be roaring, telling him his identity. He was the descendant of a child of taboo. How could he submit to someone else? "I'll fight you to the death." The seventh son roared. He raised his head and stared at Su Yin with his sharp eyes. He wanted to die with him, but when he exerted force in his palm, he realized that Luo Huaqing had already disappeared. That was because Huaqing was already standing beside Su Yin. At that moment, she let out a brilliant smile. She smiled through her tears. She felt that she was the luckiest woman in the world right now. Huaqing is a lucky girl. I prepared a beautiful photo of Zhang Huaqing. Everyone, follow my WeChat public account and search for Blue Sky Leaf to add. It will be posted around 7 p.m. Chapter 1156. The seventh son of chaos felt a chill run down his back. His eyes were filled with fear as he stared at Su Yin, cold sweat dripping down his back. It could be said that he was sweating like rain. The seventh son of chaos could not forget the despair he felt when he was beaten to death by Su Yin in the trial space. Now, he encountered Su Xianren again. But today, Su Xianren was so terrifying that he felt despair. "Fourth brother, if you and I join forces and revive our bloodline strength, we might be able to block Su Xianren and find a chance to survive." The seventh son of chaos' voice trembled. Now, there was no need to talk about suppressing Su Yin. If they could leave the Chaos Tao right alive, that would be a great thing. The seventh son of chaos still had a glimmer of hope in his heart. As long as he joined forces with fourth brother, they might be able to kill their way out. But he didn't receive any response. "Seventh son, you're finished." Yuan's eyes were red. He roared. "Fourth brother has already run away. You're the only one left." "Impossible. How could fourth brother abandon me and run away?" The seventh son of chaos screamed. How could fourth brother abandon him and run away? He was clearly beside him, but when he saw fourth brother again, his scalp tingled. This was because the seventh son of chaos had a wooden expression, as if he were an empty shell. "Bastard, how could you run away?" The seventh son of chaos nearly went mad with anger. He had taken a risk and stayed behind to save fourth brother. Otherwise, he could have used a moment when fourth brother was blocking Su Yin to escape the chaos outright. But he never imagined that fourth brother had already run away. His body was a puppet, and when Su Yin's fist shattered fourth brother's spiritual will, fourth brother had already run away. He knew that if he didn't leave now, he would be completely finished. Su Yin had also noticed this before, but protecting Luo Huaqing was more important. Thus, he hadn't chased after fourth brother. If fourth brother escaped, then so be it. To him, these three sons of chaos were three dead men. In the future, fourth brother would never amount to anything. He didn't even have the confidence to fight with him. The chances of him becoming an almighty were very slim. When Su Yin strode over, the seventh son of chaos screamed, "Su Yin, we can talk. There's no need to fight." I come from the Valley of Chaos, the forbidden zone of life. Before he could finish speaking, Su Yin stepped forward and stomped the seventh son of Chaos to the ground. Crack! His chest collapsed, and he screamed like a pig being slaughtered. The seventh son of Primal Chaos's buttocks were about to explode. He looked at Su Yin, who was looking down at him with frightened eyes, and said in a trembling voice, "Spare my life. Killing me won't make much sense to you. Let me." Luo Tiandu rushed forward like lightning, brandishing his battle spear and smashing the head of the seventh son of Chaos. However, Su Yin waved his hand and stopped Luo Tiandu. He said coldly, "This is a grudge between me and the Valley of Chaos. Don't get involved." Luo Tiandu was a little annoyed, but he quickly reacted. Once he killed the seventh son of Chaos, and this matter was leaked, the future Daluo dynasty would definitely suffer the bloody revenge of the Valley of Chaos. This kind of revenge was almost unbearable for the Daluo dynasty. Even Emperor Nan sighed, and his expression was faintly aged. If he was asked to kill the seventh son, would he dare to? Killing the seventh son was equivalent to provoking the entire Valley of Chaos. This would bring about a great disaster for the Daluo dynasty. For the sake of the tribe, he might not do it. This was a cruel reality. The strong preyed on the weak. Since ancient times, the forbidden zone of life had looked down on the world. Who would dare to openly make an enemy out of it? Moreover, killing one of the masters of the forbidden zone would bring about annihilation for their tribe. However, Su Yin was different. Even without the ninth son of Chaos, even without this grudge, the future environment of the universe would return. The Valley of Chaos would still make a move on the tribe of the burial zone. Boom! There was a thunderous explosion. The seventh son didn't even have the chance to scream before he was smashed to pieces by Su Yin. Of course, he wasn't completely dead. The bloodline in his body was special and filled with immortal matter. It vaguely outlined a terrifying figure that rippled with a taboo heavenly might. It was even reviving, and its eyes emitted a majestic aura. "It's alive." Luo Tiandu and the others were speechless. The seventh son's bloodline had flowed in reverse, but now the bloodline was reviving on its own. Was blood psychic? Was this the taboo? Just based on his descendants' bloodline alone, it possessed a shocking spirituality and emitted a kind of anger. "Who killed my son?" The taboo's cold voice sounded out. This blurry figure outlined by silver blood quickly noticed Su Yin and instantly pressed forward, wanting to obliterate the descendant who had killed his son. Scram! Su Yin's eyes widened and his messy hair danced in the wind. His aura surged into the heavens as he punched out with a peerlessly tyrannical fist. Even Emperor Nan was astonished. Su Shinren's willpower was too strong. He even dared to attack a taboo. Although this was the spiritual intelligence emitted by the taboo bloodline, it was still a taboo remnant might. However, Su Yin was unafraid. He attacked powerfully, his fists might rushing into the heavens as it smashed into the taboo blood. He wanted to grind away the taboo's spiritual intelligence. Honglong! Within the primal chaos Tao field, divine power surged. A person was reviving, brandishing his fist to bombard the taboo figure. Fist after fist, 3 consecutive punches erupted. He blasted through the taboo's blurry figure and smashed the silver blood into pieces. Su Yin stood tall on the blood-soaked earth. His blood-dyed hair danced in the wind, and his eyes emitted a terrifying fluctuation. He had a kind of conviction, a conviction to break through the taboo in the future and kill all his enemies. He wanted to achieve an unrivaled domain. His goal wasn't to become a powerful being, but to break through to the taboo realm in the future and look down on the world. The 8th son and the 7th son fell one after another, and the 4th son even escaped. The 3 sons of primal chaos have suffered a crushing defeat. Is this going to shock the world? Su Xianren returned alive from the Hell Palace and swept through the entire primal chaos Tao field. How can the Valley of Primal Chaos leave the matter at that? The spectators were all trembling. The primal chaos Tao field had even become a purgatory on Earth. Yuan and the others slaughtered their enemies in all directions and didn't let any of them escape. As long as it was a creature belonging to the primal chaos Tao field, they would kill them all. Inside the Tao field, bloody light covered the sun and surged into the heavens. The world was dark red, as if a magnificent flower of blood was blooming. The legend within continued with its unrivaled glory. You'll regret killing us. The 5 divine kings of the sealed heaven region had nowhere to run. There was no way out. They were truly in despair. Just how strong was Su Yan? From the moment he attacked until now, he hadn't drawn his sword or drawn his universe weapon. To Su Yan, this group of people didn't have the qualifications to use the universe weapon that had accompanied him when he swept through the Hell Palace. You bunch of trash from the sealed heaven region. You've often schemed against us and tried to trip us up. This is retribution. Yuan's eyes emitted a cold light. Among the 5 divine kings, there were even a few familiar faces that had attacked them before. Now that they had fallen into their hands, Yuan couldn't help but laugh in anger. Retribution. This is really retribution. My race's war god Xiaoming is about to step into the realm of Almighty. Don't mess around. One of the divine kings restrained his voice and roared. The first Almighty in the immortal graveyard is war god Xiaoming. Su Yan, you're very strong now, but if an Almighty were to come, would you be able to stop him? In fact, my race's war god Xiaoming would only need 10 days to half a month to complete his breakthrough. Luo Tiandu and the others had gloomy expressions. What he said was true. Once Xiaoming stepped into the realm of Almighty, who would be able to stop him? Although Su Yan was extremely strong now, there was still a huge gap between him and an Almighty. Moreover, once someone like Xiaoming broke through, he would definitely be one of the best among the Almighty. Break through to the realm of Almighty. Su Yan's expression was cold. He walked up and said to them coldly, "You'll have to ask if I agree first." The 5 divine kings of the sealed heaven region had a huge change in expression. Could it be that Su Yan was going to secretly attack and stop Xiaoming from breaking through? How could he be so daring? Once he failed, he would definitely die. However, if Su Yan really interfered, they would feel a chill in their hearts. They didn't forget that Su Yan was a grandmaster of the occult arts. If he really attacked secretly, Xiaoming's breakthrough would most likely not go smoothly. However, someone didn't think so. He sneered and said, "Xiaoming is breaking through to the realm of Almighty, and you want to stop him? Su Yan, I think you're thinking too much. I'd like to see who will be able to help you when my race's Xiaoming breaks through and matures." Bam! Su Yan's huge hand fell from the sky like a 5-fingered mountain. His palm was gushing with the light of the universe. It was as if the condensed universe was contained in his hand. He suddenly slashed down. The 5 Almighty were in despair. Su Yan had attacked and was going to kill them. They cannot escape at all. One divine king powerhouse after another exploded their bodies one after another, exploding into balls of bloody light. This scene shocked the world. They were all wiped out in one battle. The entire primal chaos Tao, right, was filled with mountains of corpses and seas of blood. The stench of blood surged. Who would have thought that the 3rd son, Tyrant Rend, would suppress Luo Huaqing and force out the vicious Su Yan? The battle was reversed. The primal chaos Tao, right, was directly bathed in blood. Apart from a 4th son, no one else escaped. They're all dead. Many people's teeth were chattering. The sealed heaven region had lost one of the 10 divine kings for no apparent reason. 2 of them had also been defeated by Su Yan. The 4th had fled and lost all will to fight. The primal chaos valley only had 1 remaining. A large number of cultivators had fallen. The geniuses of various races who had followed the 3 sons of primal chaos were also wiped out. Not a single one had escaped. They were all wiped out in one battle. Wiped out in one battle. The entire scene was in an uproar. However, waves of cosmic fluctuations swept out in all directions. The imposing figure standing in the primal chaos Tao right erupted. He used a great divine ability to shake the mountains and rivers. He even used a perverted method to shake millions of miles of mountains and rivers. Su Xianren, what are you doing? We only came to watch the battle. We don't have any evil intentions. Don't act recklessly. The crowd lost their composure as if they had been struck by lightning. Su Yan had used a great method to target all the spectators. This caused them to feel a certain degree of shock. Everyone, please come to the Tao, right as guests for a few days. Su Yan's methods were all-encompassing. He forcefully sealed the surrounding space and suppressed all the spectators. He didn't want too much information about himself to be leaked out. That was because he was going to obstruct Qiu Ming's path to becoming an almighty. No matter what, he couldn't allow Qiu Ming to step into the realm of almighty. Even if he had to overturn an entire city, he had to kill Qiu Ming in the divine king realm. Chapter 11:57. The primal chaos Tao field had become a living hell. The smell of blood was heavy inside, and the remaining murderous aura was bone-chilling. Some of the people who were watching the show from afar. Now, they were moved into the Tao field by Su Yan in batches. Some of the inexperienced cultivators turned pale when they saw the Tao field full of corpses, broken bones, and flesh. Their bodies trembled, and they almost vomited. The scene in the Tao field was too bloody. The number of experts who died was immeasurable. Many of them were famous geniuses, and now they were all covered in blood. These experts who were forcefully invited by Su Yan as guests were all frightened. They didn't have the time to appreciate the uniqueness and extraordinariness of the primal chaos Tao field. Their hearts were beating like drums, and they were worried that this ruthless person would kill them to keep their mouths shut. After all, Su Yan suddenly returned and rushed here immediately. Therefore, the people outside didn't know about him. Even if some people retreated in advance, they didn't see the complete battle. Even if the news was leaked, it would be difficult to confirm that Su Yan returned alive. After all, the massacre in the primal chaos Tao field was too shocking. Now, Su Yan brought them all here. Could it be that he wanted to kill them all to keep their mouths shut? Brother Su, do you have any orders for us to come here? A bold expert stood out with a respectful attitude. He cupped his hands and said, If Brother Su has any orders, just say it. Even if I have to climb a mountain of swords or dive into a sea of fire, I won't hesitate to do it. Yes, Brother Su, are you recruiting? I'll be the first to join. I'll fight wherever you point. Some people were willing to join Su Xianren's camp and follow him to conquer the world. Maybe their lives would change. Most of them were terrified and couldn't calm down. They were afraid that Su Yan would kill them to keep their mouths shut. Everyone, Su Yan restrained his aura. Although he dispersed his murderous his aura was still powerful. His eyes emitted divine radiance as he looked at them. He said indifferently, Don't panic, my friends. I don't have any evil intentions. I just want to invite you to stay here as guests for a few days. After I'm done with some matters, you can return on your own. I keep my word. Some people's hearts trembled violently. With Su Yan's reputation, he wouldn't lie to them. He wouldn't go so far as to, if he really wanted to make a move, there was no need for him to say such nonsense. With Su Yan's famous promise, these people were a little relieved. They guessed that Su Yan was preparing to seal off the news and not let more of his own matters leak out. However, what was his purpose in doing so? Could it be that he wanted to make a move on other enemies? Su Yan. Some people forcefully mustered their courage and said in a low voice, I respect you as an overlord, but you shouldn't act so recklessly and even put us under house arrest. What do you take us for? I still have important matters to attend to, so I must leave as soon as possible. Many people shivered inwardly. Wasn't this just looking for trouble? Of course. Is there anyone else who wants to go out? Su Yan's eyes scanned the huge crowd. There were tens of thousands of living beings in the minority. He said in a low voice, I, Su Yan, won't forcefully stop you. If anyone wants to go out, please step forward. Su Yan's reply made his face turn gloomy. He didn't expect Su Yan to be so easy to talk to. In an instant, at least 100 cultivators walked out. Their auras weren't weak. Some people cupped their fists at Su Yan and said, I also have important matters to attend to. There's no time to delay. Seeing these people step forward, more people walked out one after another. To them, The primal chaos Tao field was hell on earth. They didn't want to stay here for a moment longer. If they could leave, they would leave as soon as possible. Thousands of cultivators walked out. Su Yin said to those who were still hesitating, "Friends who are willing to stay here for a few more days are all Su Yan's guests. Feel free to cultivate in the primal chaos Tao field. As for friends who want to leave, the door is open to the sky. Feel free to leave." What? As soon as Su Yin said this, many people's eyes turned red. More than half of the cultivators who had left earlier returned immediately. Many of them were incomparably excited. They could stay here and cultivate. This was something they had dreamed of. One must know that there was an abundance of chaotic energy in the primal chaos Tao field. Cultivating here for a day was equivalent to cultivating outside for 10 days to half a month. Even if they cultivated for 3 to 5 days, they could save a lot of time to break through. Ha ha! Su Yan's name is like thunder to my ears. Then we won't be polite. Some older cultivators were envious. They rushed into the primal chaos Tao field at an extremely fast speed to find a place to cultivate. They devoured a huge amount of primal chaos energy. However, some people didn't think that Su Yin would be so kind as to let them leave so easily. Indeed, as soon as this group of people stepped out of the primal chaos Tao field, they seemed to be lost between heaven and earth. It was extremely difficult for them to walk out of the primal chaos Tao field. "Su Yin, what are you doing? You're not keeping your word. Are you trying to harm us?" The group of cultivators who were trapped in the special primal chaos Tao field had ugly expressions. They were all blocked by the primal chaos Tao field and couldn't break out. "Ridiculous. You're not worthy of being harmed by Brother Su." A young man who was preparing to cultivate in the primal chaos Tao field mocked, "If you don't stay here to cultivate, you'll feel guilty if you go out now. I think you can't wait to tell the outside world the news of Su Yan's return." "Damn it, Su Yan, you've gone too far. Aren't you afraid of provoking public anger by doing this?" These people were so angry that they couldn't walk out at all. They were trapped in a special primal chaos Tao field and had lost their way. No matter how strong their methods were, it was extremely difficult for them to kill their way out. Fellow cultivator Su's skills are really getting more and more amazing. Emperor Nin glanced around and said to Su Yin seriously, "To be able to casually set up such a primal chaos Tao field, you're very close to the great Grandmaster realm." Many experts of the Daluo dynasty were shocked. If Su Yan's skills had broken through the great Grandmaster realm, then he would be an 8th grade great Grandmaster, an existence that was comparable to a mighty figure. However, Su Yin lacked the corresponding inheritance, so this level was still a bit far away. However, with his 7th grade Grandmaster realm, he could already casually set up some primal chaos Tao fields. It wouldn't be particularly difficult to trap the Divine King. "Emperor Nan," Su Yin looked at him and said, "Thank you for your help in this battle." Although he had some disagreements with Emperor Nan in the past, it was all because of Luo De Li. The two of them didn't have too deep of a grudge. Now that Emperor Nan had killed his way here to save Luo Huaqing, Su Yin really thought highly of him. He had the spirit of an emperor. After this battle, the gap between Emperor Nan and Luo Tiandu would disappear. The Daluo dynasty would probably be unified. After this battle, Luo Tiandu also knew that he was Emperor Nan. He also knew that the Daluo dynasty had to gather the strongest forces to cultivate Emperor Nan. Otherwise, they wouldn't be qualified to compete with the strongest experts in the future. The lesson in the Chaotic Valley was enough. This matter concerns the honor of my Daluo dynasty. Naturally, I have to stand up. Emperor Nan's aura was calm, as he said in a deep voice, "You and I will be in the future. I don't know if we're enemies or friends. Now, we'll meet again. Luo Tiandu, you guys take care. I'll take my leave first." Emperor Nan left and didn't stay here for long. In this battle, he knew that he was lacking. He needed a crueler test to make himself stronger. In the future, he wouldn't be eliminated by the times. As for the future, he spoke of Luo Tiandu and the other side. He was referring to the competition for the strongest creation in the immortal graveyard. Sooner or later, it would appear. At that time, they would use their strongest forces to compete. Farewell, Emperor Nan, a group of Daluo dynasty soldiers shouted. There was a kind of recognition in their eyes. After all, Emperor Nan came here to fight for the dignity of the Daluo dynasty. Today, Emperor Nan had truly won the respect of these soldiers. At night, the stench of blood in the Chaos Dao field dissipated, and the battlefield was cleaned up. Su Yin regretted that he didn't get the immortal Dao substance. He couldn't use it, but Luo de Li and the others could use it to heal their injuries. However, the void pouches in the two corpses contained many treasures, and the harvest was also great. There was a bonfire burning here, and some food was being roasted. Su Yin and the others sat cross-legged on the ground, talking about the big and small events that happened in the past 5 years. 3 is finished. There's still Song Tian. Although he didn't target us, he secretly made things difficult for us. Luo Tiandu whispered. When Hua Qing was captured, Fairy Bamboo Moon of the Sky Bamboo lineage came to help. I wonder if the Lord of the Big Dipper is fine now. Su Yin learned that Bamboo Moon had helped many times these days. Otherwise, Yi Yuan and the others wouldn't have been able to survive until now. Now that Dao Li and Yi Yuan had both broken through and stepped into the Divine King's realm, they had also fought their way out of a desperate situation. Now they were deeply moved. If Su Yan's old friend hadn't helped them in secret, they might not have lived to see this day. Now, they were all Divine King experts. Even if Su Yan didn't come, the situation was much better than before. Yan also helped. Where's Bamboo Moon? Su Yan felt warmth in his heart. To be able to help at this juncture, one could see the friendship between them. These days, Liang Yan had refined many secret medicines to help them. Even Li's breakthrough had something to do with Liang Yan's secret medicine. But where was Bamboo Moon? He didn't see her in this battle. Bao Kai fell into a dangerous place. Yi Yuan said in a low voice, "Back then, we entered the graveyard of immortals and were surrounded by them. On the way, we were separated. Later, we heard that Bao Kai mistakenly entered a dangerous place, and its whereabouts are unknown. Bao Cai's life is tough. It also has the banners of demons protecting it. It won't die." Su Yin clenched his fists. He didn't believe that Tai Bao Kai would die. Yi Yuan didn't believe it either. He had gone to the dangerous place where Bao Kai fell into many times. Unfortunately, he didn't find Tai Bao Kai. But if they didn't see Tai Bao Cai's corpse, they didn't believe that Tai Bao Kai would die in that dangerous place. Did Tensor really die? Su Yan's voice was a bit hoarse. Dully clenched his fists tightly, trying to control his emotions. Yi Yuan and the others were silent. They lowered their heads, their hearts pained. It was difficult for them to accept this. Li's eyes were red. He growled. Back then, Brother Tensor deliberately lured Qiu Ming into a bottomless abyss so that I could escape. But Qiu Ming didn't fall for it. He was sent into the abyss and was hit in the heart. Bang! Su Yan's murderous aura leaked out. It was bone-chilling. He was like a burning furnace of the Great Path, illuminating the entire chaotic Taoist field. The anger in his heart was boiling. Qiu Ming, I will kill him with my own hands. Su Yan shouted coldly. He wants to break through to the almighty realm. That's impossible. We will rest here for a few days and then go find him to settle the score. Some of our grievances can be put together now. He had too many grievances with Qiu Ming. In the past, Qiu Ming looked down on him from above. Now that Su Yan had the strength, he wanted to kill Qiu Ming now. Yes, kill him and avenge Brother Tensor. Li growled. Regardless of whether Tensor had died or not, there were some accounts to settle. Now that Su Yan had returned, they had a backbone. They didn't believe that they couldn't kill Qiu Ming. Kill Qiu Ming, Luo Hua Qing also shouted. She was drunk and eating barbecued meat. She felt that it was better to be alive. The group of Daluo dynasty warriors were inspired by their words, their blood boiling. One had to know that this was Qiu Ming, the Qiu Ming who was accumulating his foundation to break through to the almighty realm. If they could kill Qiu Ming, it would be more shocking than killing the Sons of Chaos. But could they do it? The current Qiu Ming's combat strength was extraordinary. He was infinitely close to the almighty realm. Killing the current Xiaoming was easier said than done. Chapter 1158. It was already late at night, and the chaotic Taoist field was not calm. A large number of cultivators gathered here were cultivating in seclusion. As for the experts who were trapped in the force field by Su Yan, they could only watch helplessly. They also felt regret in their hearts. If they had known earlier, they would have stayed in the dojo to cultivate. After all, the chaotic Taoist field contained a vast source of chaos. Sometimes, chaotic heavenly essence would even spurt out. There was probably a dragon vein that gave birth to chaotic energy under the Taoist field. The entire Taoist field even had a special charm, as if it was a vast and untraceable great Tao of chaos. Therefore, the chaotic Taoist field was extremely valuable. Many cultivators who were cultivating in seclusion could not extricate themselves and would not waste any time. After all, one day of cultivation in the Taoist field was equivalent to 10 days to half a month in the outside world. Moreover, under the baptism of the vast amount of chaotic energy, their bodies would transform and be filled with a chaotic pressure. Of course, these people's cultivation movements were not as great as Yuan's. Yuan and the others were recovering. During the process, they absorbed endless chaotic heavenly essence. The bodies of the two divine kings, Luo De Li and him, were burning fiercely and contained the terrifying power of kings. Under the nourishment of the chaos, they were rapidly growing stronger. After almost a year of life and death training, Yuan and the others had very little time to cultivate. Now that they had the precious time, their cultivation movements were especially shocking. If nothing unexpected happened, they should be able to break through a small level. If Tensor is not dead and Tai Baokai is still here, this invincible combination will definitely be able to raise a storm in the immortal graveyard. Luo Tiandu looked at them, and then at Su Yan. Su Yan's combat strength was too frightening. He did not know what level he was at. Just by the fact that he had crushed the two sons of chaos, he could infer that Su Yan was definitely a divine king. He was extremely powerful, although this combination was now lacking two members. Under the leadership of Su Xianren, they would definitely be a peerless force that dominated the immortal graveyard. In the future, even if they faced the first son of chaos, they would not be inferior. In a few days, the immortal graveyard will no longer be peaceful. Luo Tiandu took a deep breath. When that day arrived, the storm would gather in the immortal graveyard. At that time, Su Yan would challenge the sealed heaven region and decide whether or not Su Yan would be able to gain a foothold in the immortal graveyard. After all, what they were chasing in the future was not these things, but the greatest fortune in the immortal graveyard. It was an opportunity that had existed for 1,000,000 years, and who knew if it would be obtained by a certain expert in this life. Stirring up the winds and clouds. Only a mighty lord who looks down on the world can do that. I hope Emperor Nan can rise. Otherwise, he will be drowned in the long river of time and space. The experts of the Daluo dynasty sighed. Times had changed. Even Emperor Nan, who used to rule the world, was a little dim now. Now, Su Xianren made a powerful move and defeated the two sons of primal chaos. If news of this spread, it would shake the whole world. Reality proved that the three signs of primal chaos were not the top powerhouses. In this brand new era, it was still too early to talk about who would be able to control the rise and fall of the earth and truly become invincible. Su Yan, can you continue to be invincible? Isi Yun was a peerless beauty, and her skin was whiter than snow. She had an innate cold temperament, which was somewhat related to her physique. Her jade body emitted the sacred power of extreme yin, and it was very stunning. Although Isi Yun was continuously suppressed by the sons of primal chaos in the era of her birth, she had just stepped into the divine king realm, and her realm was still low. In the future, when Isi Yun's cultivation in the divine king realm improved, then the future Isi Yun really could not be underestimated. I don't know what kind of era the future will be, but in short, I have to deal with all changes by sticking to the status quo. Su Yin stood at the peak of the Dao field, his head of messy hair draped over his shoulders. He was an expert who had fought his way out of hell alive, and he looked down on an invincible space-time. He had absolute confidence that he could break through everything. Su Yin looked at Yun. To him, other than Bing Shuang, this was the woman who was closest to him when he was young. What do you think would have happened to us if Earth had not evolved into a divine devil civilization? Yun's eyes rippled with laughter. She was like a snow lotus blooming on a snowy mountain, beautiful and graceful. She was thinking about what would have happened to them if the snowy mountain had not changed back then. How can there be so many ifs? I think our lives are very exciting. Su Yin smiled. Isn't that so? Although I have experienced a lot, I think life is very exciting. I don't have too many obsessions with the sudden fall of the future. Don't talk nonsense. Yun frowned slightly, stared at Su Yin, and said softly, I'm a little homesick. I want to go back and take a look. Su Yin took a deep breath, and he was a little silent. Later progenitor, Earth. He clenched his fists tightly. There was no turning back. When the calamity came, the ancestral star would be the first to bear the brunt of it. If they couldn't rise again before then, everything they had done before would be destroyed. Su Yin, do you still remember the Snow Mountain Dragon coffin? Yin suddenly asked. Why was it brought forward? Su Yin was a little surprised. Looking at Yun's worried look, he asked, do you know something? That Snow Mountain Dragon coffin is very important, and it hides a lot of secrets. The existence behind the ancestral hall has probably been looking for the Snow Mountain Dragon coffin. I really don't know what kind of treasure it is and how important it is. Back then, you went to the Snow Mountain Dragon coffin. Yun began to recall and muttered to herself, you slept there for 60 years. I really don't know what's inside the Snow Mountain Dragon coffin. I once saw an ancient book in the Tao Temple's Sutra Depository. There were clues about a mysterious giant coffin in it. What? Su Yin was surprised and asked, tell me in detail. It is said that there is a mysterious road between heaven and earth. Yin pondered for a while. She looked at Su Yin and said, it is called the Emperor Road. It is said that the Emperor Road is a tunnel that leads to another world. Continue. Su Yin was shocked. He suspected that the road he saw at God Burial Mountain was the Emperor Road. Back then, when the Celestial Court sent out billions of troops, it was very likely that they left along the Emperor Road. The Emperor Road has disappeared for countless years. Some ancient tribes are looking for it. Yun said in surprise. The ancient books did not mention the importance of the Emperor Road. They did not even mention where it leads to. However, according to the ancient books, the Emperor Road mysteriously disappeared. That's it. Su Yin frowned. There's more. Yun's red lips were bright, and her skin was as smooth as ice. She whispered, there is an important record. When the Emperor Road reappears, it is the day when the opportunity to become an emperor arrives. Become an emperor? Su Yin was stunned. What kind of territory was this? Su Yin did not know, but the word emperor was terrifying. Could there be another realm called the Emperor Realm? Emperor Road. Su Yin murmured. He was not particularly concerned because the disaster of this universe had nothing to do with it. It also had nothing to do with the future disaster of the buried region. He was not concerned about the Emperor Road. He was only concerned about the dark catastrophe in the future. Why did you mention the Snow Mountain Dragon coffin? Su Yin asked again. What was the relationship between the Emperor Road and the Snow Mountain Dragon coffin? Because before the Emperor Road disappeared, a mysterious giant coffin floated out from the Emperor Road. From then on, the Emperor Road disappeared. Yun smiled bitterly. I think the two are closely related. I don't know if this mysterious giant coffin is the Snow Mountain Dragon coffin. When she saw that Su Yin was deep in thought, Yun did not disturb him. She also found a place to sit down and absorb the chaotic energy to recover. There was still a big battle ahead. She also needed to prepare well. The Emperor Road closed and the mysterious giant coffin. Su Yin was surprised and made a bold guess. The Celestial Court's billions of troops left along the Emperor Road. Then, the Emperor Road closed. Later, the remaining members of the Celestial Court were cut off. Could it be because of the mysterious giant coffin? If it was as he guessed, then the mysterious giant coffin had a lot to do with it. The Emperor Road is a tunnel that leads to another universe. Su Yin thought to himself, could it be that the tribes of the Ancestral Hall are not from this universe? Therefore, they are angry about the burial region's sealing of the universe. That's why they have been targeting my tribe for so long. Su Yin felt that this connection was very logical. Perhaps it was true. They were after the mysterious giant coffin. Some taboos did not belong to this universe and came from the outside. They were here for a long time to complete a mission. However, the more he thought about it, the more shocked he was. The situation involved was too scary. What kind of secret was behind it? It's useless to think too much. Who knows what happened in the past? I only care about the future. I want to live. Su Yin turned his head. It was already early in the morning. The world was filled with the rosy glow of the morning sun. The bloody stench of the Chaos Dojo had dissipated completely. That night, the outside world was not peaceful. Many experts from different tribes came to observe the Chaos Dojo. However, what they saw was a blur. There was a shocking power shrouding the Chaos Dojo. The heroes were puzzled. What happened to the Chaos Dojo? Why was it sealed? They could not even see what was going on inside. Meanwhile, in another distant world, there was a peerless dojo here that was not inferior to the Chaos Dojo. It was like a heavenly domain that floated at the peak of the 9 heavens. It was suffused with the aura of the great Tao of heaven. From far away, passing cultivators could see that above the great domain, suspended above the 9 heavens, there was a terrifying figure. He was accumulating immeasurable resources and even emitted an indescribable might. One day, he would fill the entire universe's starry skies and become a heavenly almighty. Song Tian is too strong. I think after Qiao Ming, Song Tian is most likely the second to break through to the almighty realm. It's hard to say. The third son has also accumulated immeasurable resources. If not for targeting Su Yan's old subordinates, they might have surpassed Qiao Ming's progress. I feel that Song Tian is very strong. His aura is fusing with the great domain day by day, developing a terrifying might. The path of Almighty is very close to him. They were discussing, and some were sighing. In short, the era of young Almighty reigning supreme was about to arrive. How is it? Song Tian sat cross-legged in the great domain, interweaving with the vast mountains and earth. He drew upon the boundless great Tao of heaven. He stood there, his divine might overflowed. He was like a young almighty with extraordinary resources. It was hard to imagine how terrifying he was. The group of subordinates that came to report, they were all trembling with fear. Song Tian's eyes flashed with cold lightning. Finally, the group of subordinates said in shock, Su Xianren is suspected to have returned. These words were like divine thunder from the 9 heavens. Song Tian's expression turned slightly stiff. His pupils dilated slightly as he stared at the group of subordinates. They were trembling with fear. They did not dare to confirm the authenticity of Su Yan's return. They only came to report as soon as possible. More and more subordinates came to report. Su Yan is alive? Zhu Yongjiao was aghast. Back then, he had suppressed the third son in the Chaos Pagoda. It was too shocking. If Su Yan knew that Song Tian had borrowed the power of the heavens here to trap Bamboo Moon, that madman would most likely come to attack. What harm is there in that? Song Tian stood high in the 9 heavens and said coldly, the era has changed. It no longer belongs to him. However, I have always wanted to fight with him. I hope that when we meet again, he will not disappoint me. His eyes were filled with coldness. He had been nourished by the peerless dojo day by day, developing an invincible heart. Zhu Yongjia could not help but nod. Song Tian was becoming more and more abnormal. He had found a peerless dojo and walked the same path as him. Thus, he had been recognized by the dojo. Now, he had accumulated enough resources to pierce through the Almighty. Moreover, Zhu Yongjia did not think that Su Yin had come out of the Hall of Earth alive. Chapter 1159. 3 days later, waves of king energy rushed out from the primal chaos Tao field. Luo Dali was like an ancient primordial beast. His strength was tyrannical, and his strength could pierce through the heavens and earth. He was born with divine strength, and his flesh was tyrannical. His great strength in the God King domain was peerless. He could easily shatter tens of thousands of mountains and shake the stars. The chi and blood in Luo Dali's body was like a dragon, surging mightily, shocking all the powerful cultivators who were in seclusion. They felt as if an ancient dragon had awoken from slumber. The chi and blood that spread out from his flesh shell was as vigorous as a sea of blood. Boom! When Yi Yuan's power erupted, the world found it hard to believe. This person wasn't very famous before, but since the opening of the immortal graveyard, Yi Yuan's power had skyrocketed. However, he was suppressed by the three sons of primal chaos, so Yi Yuan's fame wasn't very high. Now that they saw Yi Yuan, they were truly speechless. This person was known for his martial prowess. His bronze body was as sturdy as a giant pillar, and his body rippled with thousands of Tao comprehension diagrams. They ran through the sky and interwove together to form a terrifying war god's phantom. Su Yin was moved as he looked at Yi Yuan. He had a great harvest on the Savage Mountain, and he felt that Yi Yuan's limit hadn't been reached yet. He felt that after a year or so of seclusion, he wouldn't have to fear the power of the taboo bloodline. Sacred body of extreme Yin. Then they saw another person in the sky. Her divine appearance was peerless, and her beautiful body was suffused with boundless divine power. This was an ancient and mysterious power. Suddenly, she seemed to have turned into a saintess. Her aura swallowed the starry sky, and it was especially shocking. Actually, these three divine kings are already terrifying enough. Many people were speechless. Yi Yuan, Dali, and Yi Si Yun. The three divine kings stood tall in the sky, full of the divine might of kings. The three of them weren't ordinary people, and they all had shocking battle strength. Of course, if you include Su Yin, this combination is too powerful. I didn't expect the Tao Temple's sacred body of extreme Yin to walk together with them. It's really unbelievable. Who would dare to believe it? The most outstanding disciple of the Taoist Church would stand with Su Yin and the others. After all, the Taoist Hall did not interfere in the conflicts between disciples. Even if Yi Si Yun stood with the Zhongyu clan, the Taoist Hall would not interfere. Now, there were three kings in the sky. At this moment, all the experts were looking at a man who was almost like a legend. His body was filled with a terrifying pressure. Suddenly, there was no king's pressure, but there was a kind of peerless elegance that could suppress the universe. Su Yin, the legend of his generation, was even more glorious than his most glorious moments. Where are they going? The cultivators who were in seclusion in the Tao field were all astonished. Su Yin and the others had left. What are they going to do? I want to go too, Luo Huaqing murmured. He wanted to go over and fight together with them. Even though he knew his own battle prowess was very weak, he still wanted to help. Hearing this, Luo Tiandu smiled bitterly and said, I want to go too, but this is between Su Yin and the Zhongtian region. Moreover, we can't interfere, and we don't have the right to interfere. I hope Su Yin and the others can return triumphantly. Luo Huaqing naturally understood that they were going to stay here and cultivate. Of course, they would not cultivate for long. The fourth son of primal chaos had escaped and would most likely make a comeback. However, now was not the time, so they had a lot of time to cultivate in the Tao field and strive to strengthen themselves quickly. This is bad. Su Yin, that devil, has left the chaotic Tao field. What is he going to do? Damn it, we've been trapped by Su Xianren. We can't go out, and we can't spread news of him. I don't know where this ruthless person is going, and who is he going to settle the score with? In short, they've turned out in full force. Are they going to target Xiaoming? Hearing this, the cultivator from the Zhongtian region who came to scout for information growled, Su Yin is delusional. Our god of war, Xiaoming, is about to step into the almighty realm. If Su Yin dares to interfere with Xiaoming's breakthrough, he will die without a burial place. Although he said this, his heart was beating like a drum, and a chill was spreading in his body. Su Yin was hiding in the dark. If he really attacked with Tyrant's rupture, even if he couldn't interfere with Qiuming's breakthrough, the Zhongtian region would suffer a great loss. It was also enough to make the sealed heaven region suffer heavy losses. At that time, not a single one of the 10 great divine kings survived. Boom! When the 4 of them left the place one after another, the group of people trapped by Su Yin struggled with all their might, trying to escape and spread the news. However, it was useless. They couldn't get out at all. They were worried because the outside world didn't know how powerful Su Xianren was. They didn't know that he had killed the Master of Chaos. He had crushed everyone along the way. The 3 divine kings and Su Yin left through the sky. Yi Yun, Yi Yuan, and Su Yin were all members of the Zhongtian region. Luo Dali had followed Su Yin for 10 or 20 years. They were true brothers who could be friends with their lives. Now, the 4 of them were rushing towards the huge city where Qiuming was in seclusion. Each of their eyes emitted a cold aura. This battle wasn't just for the grudges from before, but also for the treasures, for Zhang Liang. Boom! The 4 experts streaked across the sky at extreme speeds. They tore the void apart and caused the space to become chaotic. Wherever they passed, heaven and earth would tremble. There was ice-cold, killing intent that leaked outwards, startling all of the creatures that passed by. They felt as if 4 great, unmatched divine kings were moving through the sky, not knowing what they were going to do. It seems to be coming from the direction of the Chaos Dao field. Do you think it's the Masters of Chaos? I sensed 3 peerless divine kings' waves. It should be the Masters of Chaos, right? It's said that they suppressed Luo Huaqing. I wonder if they killed Su Yan's old subordinates. Who knows? Now the whole world is paying attention to Qiuming. He's breaking through every day and is infinitely close to success. I think it won't take more than half a month for him to break through to the Almighty Realm. Now, in the immortal graveyard, many geniuses had gathered in the giant city to observe Qiuming's feat of breaking through. They also wanted to see how much stronger the Almighties who broke through in this era were compared to the Almighties of the outside world. On the way, Dali rubbed his fists and asked Su Yin, "Big brother, are we going to kill our way in? Are we going to start the battle right away and kill Qiuming?" Hearing this, Su Yin smiled. He's an expert who's trying to break through to the Almighty Realm. Even if we suppress him, he can still give up some of his foundation and break through to the Almighty Realm in advance. Do you know what Almighty Realm is? Dali and the others shook their heads. Then they were surprised. Could it be that Su Yin had also come into contact with this realm? They didn't know about Su Yan's experience in Hall of Earth. However, in a short 5 years, Su Yan's essence, energy, and spirit had changed so much. He must have had a hard time and experienced many difficulties and setbacks. A almighty realm is as strong as one's heart, Su Yin said in a low voice. Rather than calling him almighty, it's better to call him the god of the universe. Qiuming wants to accumulate enough of the Divine King's foundation so that when he breaks through in the future, he can become even stronger as an almighty and have a stronger foundation. In the past, the path of cultivation was like a broad foundation. Becoming a sovereign was a realm of extreme sublimation. However, above this realm, there's an even vaster heaven and earth. Su Yin said it in a relaxed manner. In fact, the path to becoming almighty was extremely difficult. Too many experts who were stuck at the half-step almighty realm were unable to break through to the almighty realm in their entire lives. Rather than a breakthrough, it was like controlling the power of the universe. In order to do this, one had to fight against the universe. The universe was too majestic. It was so vast that it suffocated all living beings. Therefore, every expert who broke through to the almighty realm had great courage and drive. Of course, the stronger one's foundation, the stronger the test one would encounter. When the time came, Qiuming would have to face an almighty's lightning tribulation. It would definitely be extremely powerful. You want to set up formation? Using the momentum of heaven and earth to suppress Qiuming? Yi Yin asked. A peak rank, 7 expert with special abilities was not to be underestimated. Suyin might really be able to do it. I have this idea. We want to see how far Qiuming has accumulated. Su Yin said indifferently. If he has already accumulated to the most important stage, there's no need for him to take this step. He could just force his way through. When the time comes, he'll definitely be injured when he steps into the almighty realm. He'll definitely need a long period of closed-door cultivation. Yuan nodded. They had to trap Qiuming and block his path to being born. The dragon totem in the immortal graveyard will most likely be restricted. If we can avoid using it, we should avoid it. Su Yan's eyes emitted a cold light. It was as if he could see through the earth and spy on the scene in the giant city. In short, they could not lose this battle. Within the giant city, heroes gathered. Yingjie from all walks of life had gathered. Qiuming was about to break through. This was a shocking feat. Many great sects sent their successors over, bringing generous gifts. When the time came, they would congratulate Qiuming on his success. After all, the weight of the first Almighty in the new era was too great. Perhaps because of Qiuming's breakthrough, the immortal graveyard's environment would loosen up a bit, and the Almighties of the outside world would take advantage of the situation to enter. In short, once Qiuming broke through to the Almighty realm, the immortal graveyard would still be his world. When the time came, the world's endless treasures would fall into his hands. Hence, his breakthrough progress was too important. Have you heard? Within the city, a rumor spread. Su Yin has returned. He went to the primal chaos Dao, right? Originally, it was just a piece of news, but in a short night, it spread throughout the entire city. What kind of joke is this? Su Yin has returned. The experts in the city were all dumbfounded. A person who entered a land of death could still come out alive? I don't know if this news is real or not. I don't know if it's credible. If this fella really did return, he might be able to stir up some storms. After all, he was Su Xianren who shook the world. He cannot be underestimated. This matter is hard to prove. If it really is true, I reckon it won't be long before news spreads. Within the enormous city, a few heavenly geniuses discussed spiritedly. This matter was a bit shocking and also extremely sudden. However, they found it hard to believe. There was no concrete news that spread either. Suddenly, within the enormous city there was a buzz with discussions. A boundless divine might surged. It was terrifying beyond compare, making the cultivators within the city tremble, all of them about to kneel down and prostrate in worship. This aura was incomparably powerful, surging and surging. It swept through the vast rivers, mountains, and great earth, spreading to tens of millions of li vaguely. Everyone saw a terrifying figure. His aura swallowed a great region, essence blood like a sea. He was like a legendary supreme deity that overlooked the boundless great earth. The sun, moon, and starry sky seemed a bit insignificant by his side. Qiuming, the entire place erupted with commotion. The cultivators of 10,000 sects all trembled inwardly. They felt like Qiuming was about to succeed. This type of boundless essence blood leaked outwards, enough to cover the entire great region. It truly was the embodiment of heaven shaking and earth changing. Qiuming is too strong, the new era's #1 great figure. This type of glory will definitely go down in the annals of time. There are some who say that Su Yin came out from Earth's palace, but when he sees Qiuming, who is at the Supreme Being realm, he will most likely feel despair. A few heavenly geniuses were stupefied. They felt like Qiuming was like a giant dragon from the 9 heavens, powerful to an inconceivable degree. He had already developed the immeasurable divine might of a great being, his might intimidating the world. Even if he failed to break through, it was still shocking enough. He would become a giant whose might shook the entire immortal graveyard. Chapter 1160. The giant city of the immortal graveyard was eventually called Universe City. This city was even more magnificent than the Great Path City. It contained complete universal laws, as if it was an independent space. If one cultivated in the city for a long time, They could feel the charm of the new era's environment, which was greatly beneficial to one's cultivation. It was like a universe floating between the sky and earth, filled with an ancient and desolate aura. It was difficult to estimate the age of the building. It had witnessed the changes of time and space, as well as the changes of the times. In this giant city, there was a blazing figure sitting cross-legged in the center of the city. When he awakened and revived, his divine power was unparalleled. Vast essence blood surged out of his body, penetrating the sky and then radiating out, sweeping thousands of miles away. At this moment, Qiu Ming's aura swallowed the universe. As he breathed, the vast space fluctuated. Boundless divine power was drawn by him and penetrated his blazing combat body, accumulating the foundation to break through to the almighty level. However, no matter how fast Qiu Ming absorbed, the spirit qi in the immortal graveyard was extremely rich. It could provide for the daily cultivation of mighty beings. Even now, when Qiu Ming broke through and absorbed the divine power of heaven and earth in Universe City, the spirit qi in the Universe City was still rich. However, the spiritual energy of this city was still very dense, without any signs of decline. One had to admit that the cultivation environment of the immortal graveyard was especially astonishing. He's about to succeed. The four of them came to Universe City. Yuan looked at Qiu Ming's figure and said coldly, "With such a foundation, he can start to break through to the mighty realm now. I vaguely feel the pressure from the depths of the universe. A divine punishment is coming. He should be able to break through in less than 10 days." Su Yin looked around and said in a low voice, "The environment of the new era requires continuous adaptation. The higher the realm, the more adaptation. Now, Qiu Ming is exploring the mysteries of the universe and accumulating the strongest foundation. Once he completes this step, he will directly break through." Speaking of adapting to the environment, Li smacked his lips and said, "When we first came to the immortal graveyard, our combat power was greatly suppressed by the environment. It took us several months to slowly adapt. Back then, I broke through to the Divine King realm. This is all thanks to the Divine King pill refined by the Danzone Master." Hearing this, Isi Yun, whose face was covered by a veil, stared at Su Yin and asked, "How did you meet Yin?" She is Vice Principal Shang Li's last disciple, and her attainments in the Tao of Alchemy are extremely strong. She can already refine peak 7th grade medicinal pills, and her alchemy skills are close to 8th grade alchemy. From a woman's intuition, Isi Yun felt that Liang Yan and Su Yin had a deep friendship. However, there had never been a rumor in the universe that Su Yin was acquainted with Liang Yan. Otherwise, the target of the 3 signs of chaos would not have been Luo Huaqing. Back then, the 3 signs of chaos were blinded by Shang Li. If it weren't for the fact that they wanted to exterminate Su Yan's old subordinates, they would have definitely attacked Liang Yan. It's been a long time. I didn't expect her achievements to be so high. However, with Yan's temperament, she is indeed suitable for the Tao of Alchemy. I hope she can shine in this field." Su Yin clenched his fists slightly. Liang Yan had saved his life before, and even asked for medicine from Bipolar Star back then. Now, she was willing to help his friend at all costs. This showed the friendship between them. "Not bad, Su Yin. You even know her temperament so well." Isi Yun narrowed her eyes and snorted. "Their relationship is not a small matter. Back then, the Sagely Battle God was targeting you because of Liang Yan, right? Now, Liang Yan has become Vice Principal Shang Li's last disciple, and the Sagely Battle God can only watch helplessly." Yuan and Luo dully looked at each other and tried to hold back their laughter. Why did they feel that Isi Yun's words were a little sour? Although Li's understanding of Isi Yun was limited, Yuan knew all too well. Back then, Isi Yun had sacrificed her life for him. Su Yin and the others were so anxious to leave Earth back then because they wanted to revive Isi Yun. Back then, on Alcade Planet, Isi Yun was chosen by the Grand Elder of the Crepe Myrtle sect and was taken to the Crepe Myrtle sect to further her studies. Yuan felt that if it wasn't for that incident, Su Yin might have even had a child. Su Yin felt helpless and said, "Who doesn't have a few friends?" Friends? Yin stared at Su Yin. She didn't believe that the two of them were just friends. Big brother, Sister Liang Yan is in Universe City. Do you want to go and take a look? Luo Dili said in a low, muffled voice. This. Su Yin was speechless. Yin felt a chill run down his spine and hurriedly said, "We have a lot of enemies now. We have big things to do in Universe City. Let's go to the city to buy some goods first." Dili. Isi's robes fluttered in the wind, and her dark hair shone brightly, reaching her waist. Although she had used a veil to cover her stunning appearance, her aura was truly peerless. She looked deeply at Luo Dali and asked, "Between me and Liang Yan, who do you think is more outstanding?" Yuan was stunned and stared at Luo Dali. Luo Dali's heart skipped a beat. He suddenly had an ominous feeling. He scratched his head and said in a low, muffled voice, "Sister Liang Yan is kind. You have a peerless appearance. Both of you are very outstanding." Yuan patted Li's shoulder. This was really difficult for him. Yin snorted and looked at Su Yin, who was running away. She thought to herself, "If you don't have a guilty conscience, why did you run so fast?" Yuan followed behind them and looked around the city. It was very lively here. Dragon meat buns. Customers passing by. Come take a look. A prehistoric heavenly art. It can be cultivated all the way to the peak of the Divine King. Customers who need it, hurry up and buy it. There's only one of it. Exploring the prehistoric secret palace and excavating many antiques, there are only 6 left. It's on sale now. If you miss this opportunity, you won't get another one. Hawkers were enthusiastically hawking their wares. Shops were taking out new dishes. The streets were filled with the sounds of bargaining and arguments with the shops. People came and went in an endless stream. It was very lively. Actually, as an ordinary person, life is also very exciting. Yuan suddenly sighed emotionally in his heart. He watched as a few Dao companions came and went in pairs. When he saw the newlyweds beaming with joy, this place was truly filled with a lively atmosphere. These people and things touched Yuan greatly. Before Earth's apocalypse, he was also such a person. However, for the sake of his race and for the sake of survival, he shouldered too many missions and too many responsibilities. On the streets, there were also some rumors. A name that had disappeared for 5 or 6 years was being talked about like a god. Su Xianren came out alive? This is unbelievable. They were only slightly shocked and shook their heads. To them, that person was too great and unreachable. He had written too many myths and legends. His name alone was enough to suppress the world and swallow the universe. Because of this name's return, there was a stifling atmosphere in Cosmic City. Of course, this was only true for the strong fighters. This was especially true for the Sealed Heaven region, which had the largest territory in Universe City. Many discerning people had noticed that even though they could not confirm that Su Yin had really come out of Hell Palace, there were many strong fighters patrolling their territory. Now that Xiao Ming was about to break through, nothing could happen at this critical juncture that could disrupt Xiao Ming's breakthrough. However, this danger had already been sold in shops of all sizes in Cosmic City. After his trip to the Hell Hall, Su Yin was so poor that he had nothing left. The 5 years of bloody battle had depleted Su Yan's wealth. If not for the fact that he had killed the 2 sons of Primal Chaos and overturned the entire Primal Chaos dojo, Su Yin would have been left with nothing. The Immortal Graveyard is really rich. Many treasures that can't be found in the outside world are frequently unearthed here. Su Yin began to search street by street. Originally, he didn't have much hope for the materials he needed, but he didn't expect to buy so many here. Esteemed guest, this is Space-Time Heavenly Essence. It contains an astonishing amount of space-time energy. To put it bluntly, this is a supreme treasure that even peak tribes would covet. It can be used to seal one's body or even be refined in a space-time liquid to extend one's lifespan. Su Yin found a treasure that coveted him in a large shop. However, the price was too shocking. It wouldn't be sold for less than 40,000 kilograms of primal chaos material. Although Luo, the elite, didn't know what Su Yin wanted to do, he had spent close to 200,000 kilograms of primal chaos material. This was already a huge fortune. Su Yin reluctantly bought it. He still needed a portion of 9 Heaven Galactic Sand, which was very precious. Su Yin wandered around Cosmic City for a day before he managed to gather a gourd of 9 Heaven Galactic Sand. Every grain of 9 Heaven Galactic Sand was as heavy as a star. This gourd was enough to refine the rough embryo of a supreme treasure. After buying all these things, Su Yin was once again on the poverty line. However, in his realm, money was just a worldly possession. Boom! At night, Cosmic City was bright. There was no doubt that Xiao Ming had recovered once again. He used his terrifying divine power to come into contact with the magnificent universe. He had a deep understanding of the mysteries of the universe and experienced the pressure of the environment. I think Xiao Ming is about to break through. The world was already used to this. However, day after day, they could feel that Xiao Ming was getting stronger day by day. This process was even very fast and extremely shocking. Xiao Ming is really a heaven-defying genius. He directly stepped into the half-almighty realm and rushed into the almighty realm in one go. He's about to succeed. I've been waiting here for so many days. Finally, I can see the day when he's about to break through. Anyone could see the vast divine power released by Xiao Ming's official residence. It spread across the vast territory and flowed with the terrifying light of the Great Path. As he breathed, the world flickered. All the creatures in the sky felt that this was Xiao Ming's kingdom. The gods trembled. It was really getting more and more frightening. Stepping into the almighty realm in this environment, will he really be that strong? Some of the old god kings were scared out of their wits. I can't believe it's influencing me to follow Xiao Ming into the Tao. I'm a god king. Could it be that the universe and space-time really create almighty experts? The experts of the major sects had mixed feelings. Once Xiao Ming succeeded in breaking through, no one would be able to compete with him. Most of the immortal graveyard would become Xiao Ming's backyard. He could use this opportunity to rush higher and go further. It's the right time, place, and people. Someone roared. The sealed heaven region has really turned around. This is the turn of fortune. The sealed heaven region that hasn't collapsed will rise under the leadership of Xiao Ming and seize the glory of the past. It will naturally be strong in the future. Su Yin looked at the sky. When Xiao Ming's aura completely merged with the universe, it would be the day he achieved the Tao. Then we can only seal Tian and make him lose hope of achieving the Tao. Su Yan's eyes were like lightning, as if he could see through Xiao Ming's foundation. Chapter 11:61. Previously, Su Yan's estimation of Xiao Ming was wrong. Now, it seemed that Xiao Ming had reached the pinnacle of the Divine King and was beginning to comprehend the supreme mysteries of the universe. In that case, it wouldn't take more than 3 days for Xiao Ming to succeed in breaking through. He's about to succeed. Winds and clouds were surging within Cosmos City. Everyone could see that Xiao Ming's breakthrough had reached an extremely important juncture. Heaven and earth were trembling violently. This aura had already alarmed tens of thousands of sects and shaken the world. The first almighty of the new era. This weight was too heavy. The peak races were all paying close attention. A grand meeting was also about to begin. In the outside world, at the entrance of the immortal graveyard, this news shocked a group of great figures. Even some almighty said, Xiao Ming has already merged with the great Tao of the universe. He has comprehended the profound mysteries of the universe and the layout of the environment. Once he's matured, he'll definitely be the most terrifying almighty expert in the past 1,000,000 years. The whole scene was in an uproar. This evaluation was too frightening. The most powerful almighty expert in the past 1,000,000 years, and this evaluation came from a single almighty. It couldn't help but cause an uproar among the tens of thousands of sections. There were even some almighty experts who were looking forward to Xiao Ming's breakthrough. It wouldn't be long before the laws of the immortal graveyard were unsealed. When that day came, it would be the time for them to enter the immortal graveyard. This was too important. To them, if they could be baptized in the greater environment, they would be able to walk deeper into the realm of almighty experts. Do you guys think that the forbidden path will start anew? Someone's voice trembled, causing the hearts of the experts gathered here to beat faster. This was extremely likely. In the future, this group of youngsters would most likely penetrate into a legendary realm. A realm that had disappeared before might be nurtured in the greater environment. Forbidden. Tens of thousands of creatures felt a chill all over their bodies. If this realm really could appear, then what would the universe become? Who knew how many ancient orthodoxies would withdraw from the stage, and a brand new era would begin? Ha ha ha! The experts of the sealed heaven region couldn't stop laughing. Their hearts were dripping with joy. The new era had come, but their race's Qiuming was the first to break through. This was very important. He would certainly obtain endless treasures in the immortal graveyard, which would allow him to walk further on the path of almighty experts. Since Qiuming would become the first almighty in the new era, then he might also become the first forbidden. The sealed heaven region was to consider this matter. Now, they had to pay attention to this news. Some leaders of the big clans kept to get close to the sealed heaven region's race, saying their race had a peerless beauty and hoped that they would consider letting her follow Qiuming to follow Qiuming's. Ha ha ha, everyone! An almighty from the sealed heaven region stepped forward, his old face full of smiles. Our race's Qiuming once begged the experts of our race to bring gifts to the heavenly bamboo branch to propose marriage. As for the matter of Qiuming's cultivation partner, I hope you won't mention it again. Children have their own ideas. As adults, we won't interfere. The heavenly bamboo branch. The experts of the various sects thought deeply. In recent years, Tian had been like the sun in the sky. He had established a peerless training ground in the immortal graveyard. According to internal information, it was said that Tian was very close to becoming an almighty. If Tian became an almighty in the future, then the reunion of two almighties in the new era would be shocking. Not bad, not bad. Although we have neglected Bamboo Moon, I believe that she will make a serious choice. Zhu Yuanqing of the heavenly bamboo branch laughed, which shocked the experts of the nearby orthodoxies. When the sealed heaven region proposed marriage, the heavenly bamboo branch didn't directly respond, but now, Zhu Yuanqing had spoken in front of everyone. Therefore, their clans didn't have any objections. This signal was very important. Zhu Yuanqing and the others also understood that once Qiuming completed his breakthrough, it would change the situation in the immortal graveyard. I think we need to wake up the heavenly bamboo almighty and tell him that this matter is of great importance. This matter can't be delayed any longer, so as to avoid Qiuming's dissatisfaction. An elder of the heavenly bamboo branch said in a low voice, "The current Qiuming is no longer the Qiuming of the past. Once he breaks through, we will have to respectfully address him as a senior. Even the experience of the first almighty in the new era is very important to Tian. It's enough for our clan to have one young supreme. Now, Bamboo Moon is also being suppressed by our young supreme in the training ground. It seems like Bamboo Moon is inferior to Tian. Another elder said in a low voice, "She's a woman after all. We can't let her do everything as she pleases." It's said that she has helped Su Yan's old subordinates many times. Bamboo Moon's actions have already gone against our clan's interests. We can't let her do as she pleases anymore. The clan's interests are the most important. Do you think that Qiuming, who has stepped into the realm of Almighty, won't be able to persuade Bamboo Moon?" Zhu Yuanqing laughed. "Just wait and see. After Qiuming completes his breakthrough, we will definitely receive a lot of good news." The news of Qiuming's breakthrough quickly spread to all the orthodoxies. Now in Cosmos City, a storm was gathering. Experts from various clans arrived frequently, bringing with them heavy gifts. One could see their attitude. The winds and clouds gathered in Universe City, and Qiuming's aura had been at its peak since yesterday. He had been in his strongest state. Even the experts from various clans could faintly sense that Qiuming's aura was constantly increasing. Boom! He sat cross-legged in his official residence. Blood essence that was as deep as the sea was steaming, majestically filling the vast space-time, especially the chi and blood that permeated his body. It was getting denser and denser, as if thousands of dragons were emerging from the sea. A great power spread out, shaking the four seas. It had been a whole day and night. Xiaoming was absorbing the spiritual energy of the immortal graveyard day by day, causing his body to become more and more dazzling. It was as if thousands of suns had merged into one, blooming with auspicious clouds and hazy light of the great Tao. I think he's about to break through. In a cultivation area near Xiaoming's official residence, Luo De clenched his fists. The current Xiaoming was too tyrannical. Just the divine power that leaked out was enough to suppress Luo De Li to the point of suffocation. It was hard to imagine what kind of cruel blow he would suffer if he were to face him. Su Yan hasn't come out of seclusion yet. There's not much time left. Yi Yuan was worried. It was too difficult to stop Xiaoming from breaking through. Just based on Xiaoming's current great power, even the kings of the heavens were dim in comparison. Since Su Yan is here, he definitely knows what to do. Yi Yan opened her bright eyes, appearing very calm. She looked at the secret room where Su Yan was in seclusion and said, "We also have to be prepared. When the time comes, there will definitely be a fierce battle. It will definitely be very cruel. This is a fight to the death," Yi Yuan said coldly. "No matter what, we can't let Xiaoming stand in the realm of the Almighty. If that happens, there will be no place for us in the immortal graveyard. After all, this realm was too powerful. Those below the realm of the Almighty were all ants." This was an empty talk. Moreover, the one breaking through now was Xiaoming, not an ordinary cultivator. With his foundation, if he really broke through, then great changes would occur. When the second day arrived, the universe city was filled with strands of supreme power. Everyone saw the figure sitting cross-legged in the official residence. He was as majestic as the heavens and appeared completely different. It was as if a supreme god had appeared. How terrifying! Millions of creatures trembled. They all wanted to bow down and worship Xiaoming. This was because some people saw that within the vast essence blood boiling within Xiaoming's body, thick and blurry rays of order appeared one after another. Every ray of order flowed with a terrifying pressure of the great Tao. Moreover, they were as thick as the galaxy, as vast as the ocean, as vast as the sea. Every ray of order released was like a dragon coming back to life. It might shook the world. Oh my God, he's about to break through. His body is beginning to breathe the energy of the universe and the laws of the universe. The whole place was in an uproar. The meaning of this was completely different. He was about to complete the breakthrough and step into the realm of the legendary Almighty. When the news spread, the experts of thousands of sects were shocked and trembling, because it was certain that he would succeed in breaking through. When the news broke into the outside world, the experts of the sealing heaven region laughed one after another. One of the Almighty shouted in a low voice, "Pass down my order. Send out invitations. I want to set up the most powerful banquet on the day Xiaoming completes the breakthrough." This was an order from an Almighty. He wanted to send out invitations to set up the banquet of the Almighty with the highest standards. Some people felt that it was a bit too early. Xiaoming was not yet an Almighty. Was he going to send out invitations now? However, was there any suspense? Xiaoming would almost complete the breakthrough the next day. Even if it was a day earlier, he would still be able to let all the races in the world experience the deterrence of the most powerful being in the new era. I heard a rumor yesterday that Su Yan has returned from the Hall of Hell. This news spread here, causing a group of big shots to be stunned. They had almost forgotten about Su Yan. Because of the opening of the immortal graveyard, everyone in the world was paying attention to the immortal graveyard. They had really forgotten about Su Xianren, who once shook the world. So what if he came back alive? He will probably only be able to look at Xiaoming from afar and feel despair. Once a young overlord cannot keep up with the progress of the times, he will be the most pitiful. Many big shots sighed. So what if Su Yin came out alive? Could he defy the heavens and interrupt Qiu Ming's mythological path? Of course, no one thought that Su Yin could reach the realm of Almighty before Qiu Ming. Boom! That night, everything within a radius of 1,000,000 miles seemed to be extremely terrifying. The world was covered by golden light. A terrifying figure looked down on the 9 heavens and 10 earths. The light of order that rose from his body surged and even started to increase rapidly. What was even more shocking was that the starry sky was changing. The starry sky seemed to have turned into a giant furnace. Thousands of stars appeared. They were small at first, but they eventually turned into great stars in the universe. They rumbled as they rotated. The astronomical phenomenon was terrifying to the extreme, covering a distance of 1,000,000 miles. Everyone was shocked. Qiu Ming's breakthrough had affected the world. Someone even discovered that a supreme god was being nurtured in the starry sky. It was as if Qiu Ming's Dharma idol had appeared and filled the vast starry sky. He is getting stronger and stronger. I see a corner of the universe shaking. It is going to press down and merge with Qiu Ming. Qiu Ming is standing here. Who in the world dares to call themselves supreme? Who dares? An expert from the sealed heaven region growled. It's a pity that vicious Su died in the Earth Hall. He was destined to never be able to witness battle god Qiu Ming's peerless divine might. He was destined to never be able to witness battle god Qiu Ming's peerless might. He was destined to never know what a true king is. Su Xianren had always been the pain and hatred in the sealed heaven region's hearts. They felt that it was a pity and felt as if their hearts were being twisted by a knife. They felt that no one could miss out on this day, except for Su Xianren. Then I'll witness how Qiu Ming reigns supreme in the world. In the vast starry sky, a shadow walked step by step, causing a corner of the universe to rumble. The great Tao of heaven and earth pulsed. His aura was incomparably powerful and was about to merge with the universe. Erupt! Erupt! Please seal Qiu Ming with monthly votes. Chapter 1162. The sealed heaven region sent out invitations, and the forces invited were undoubtedly the most reputable clans in the universe. Although Qiu Ming was not yet a powerful figure, he was only a few days away from that. The clans were also very respectful. Famous old antiques walked out of their mountain gates and headed towards the entrance of the immortal graveyard. They were full of congratulatory words, which made the experts of the sealed heaven region beam with joy. The prestige they had lost in the past was completely recovered today. It could be said that they were like the sun in the sky. Our clan will reach the peak of glory because of Qiu Ming. The experts of the sealed heaven region sighed. The first powerful figure of the new era, who even had hopes of breaking through the taboo in the future. How could the world not be shocked? Haha! Thank you for your support, fellow Taoists. When my clan's Qiu Ming finishes breaking through, we'll hold a banquet. A senior elder of the sealed heaven region walked out with a smile and said, according to the news from the Universe City, our clan's Qiu Ming will break through tomorrow at the latest. I hope you won't be impatient. Haha, such a grand occasion. What's the harm in waiting? The first powerful figure of the new era. If we can see the scene of his breakthrough, the harvest will be even greater. Qiu Ming was a peerless king back in the day, and he was also the most powerful person in the sealed heaven region in the Forbidden Zone. He broke through to the grand cultivator level in such an environment, and he was definitely comparable to the strongest prehistoric heroes. The entrance of the immortal graveyard was very lively. There were too many experts gathered here, all of whom were extremely senior elders of the world. They could represent their clans to congratulate him. The vice president of the Tao Palace is also here. At this time, a silent, powerful figure of the sealed heaven region stood up. He was called Feng Tianyi, and he wore a golden robe. He stared at the vice president of the sealed heaven region, Jin Yu, and said indifferently, "This old man didn't come out to meet you." The lively scene was somewhat quiet. Everyone knew that the sealed heaven region and the Tao Palace were not on good terms. "You are too courteous." The vice president of the sealed heaven region, Jin Yu, was also very powerful. He was even more intimidating than Feng Tianyi. Moreover, he was still young, and his aura was stronger than most of the experts present. I heard that the Hell Hall of the Primal Chaos Tower is a place of life and death. Feng Tianyi said indifferently. Vice Headmaster Jinyu, what do you think of the news that Su Yin came out of the Earth Hall alive? Many people were stunned. They did not expect Feng Tianyi to directly ask. What were they trying to do? Back then, the Tao Church had sent out a super lineup in the Chaos Pagoda to teach the 3 signs of chaos a lesson and support Su Yin. That incident had caused quite a stir, and the realm of Feng Tian was extremely dissatisfied with it. Now that Xiaoming was about to become the first great cultivator of the new era, the people of the realm of Feng Tian had hardened their backs and questioned the Holy Ji Hall directly. I didn't think that fellow Taoist would pay attention to a little cultivator. Vice Principal Jinyu replied with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. This caused the expressions of some experts from the great powers to change. Who didn't know that the sealed heaven region had suffered great losses at the hands of Su Yin? Their ancestral land was almost penetrated. The tragedy of that year was still vivid in their minds. It was true that Su Yin was a little cultivator, but how could this little cultivator, who had caused the realm of Feng Tian to suffer great losses, not be worthy of the attention of the great powers of the realm of Feng Tian? Feng Tianyi's expression was slightly cold. Of course, he did not dare to do anything to Vice Principal Jinyu. Even now, he was puzzled. How did Su Yin get involved with the Tao Church? Vice Principal Jinyu. Feng Tianyi quickly calmed down and said calmly, I'm sorry. Back then, Xiaoming of my clan almost killed your disciple. If it weren't for the fact that Xiaoming of my clan had broken through to become a great cultivator, and time is precious, I would have definitely made him pay a visit to the Tao Church to apologize. Hearing this, Vice Principal Jinyu's eyes turned cold. He said coldly, there's no need for that. The Tao Church has never participated in the disputes of the outside world. Even if my disciple died in the outside world, I would not say anything. I would never interfere in the fight between my disciples. Feng Tianyi's expression was extremely unfriendly. Some of the nearby people's expressions changed as well. This was not an indirect insult, but an accusation that the realm of Feng Tian interfered in the disputes of the younger generation. Immediately, a group of people came over to smooth things over. Now, there was a strong smell of gunpowder. It's just helping a dead man. Ancestor, please calm down. There were also experts from the realm of Feng Tian who came over and said to Feng Tianyi with a smile, at that time, Xiaoming almost killed the sacred body of Taiyin, so this old guy is angry. Ancestor, there's no need to lower yourself to his level. Of course I know. It's just a pity that Su Yin, this evil creature, if our clan does not kill him, it will always be a stain on Xiaoming's glorious history. When Feng Tianyi said this, the other experts from the realm of Feng Tian also thought the same. Xiaoming's glorious era had come, but the person he wanted to get rid of the most had been buried in the Hall of Earth. One had to say that it was a pity. Vice Dean Jinyu, the Tao Temple's universal bridge, should be able to connect to the graveyard of immortals so that we can witness the scene of Xiaoming breaking through. Someone deliberately said this, wanting to disgust Vice Dean Jinyu. Unexpectedly, Vice Dean Jinyu did not hesitate. With a wave of his sleeve, a golden bridge floated out. That's exactly what I was thinking. Vice Dean Jinyu waved his sleeve, and the universal bridge rumbled and blazed 1,000,000 times brighter. Vast and mighty space-time energy surged, and the bridge shone, emitting a formless cosmic energy that penetrated the graveyard of immortals. The cosmic bridge was the supreme treasure of the Tao Temple. This supreme treasure had been awakened by the paramount realm. What surprised the world was that the cosmic bridge had actually succeeded. It had manifested a blurry tunnel, and at the end of the tunnel, the image of Cosmic City appeared. The whole place was in an uproar. Although the image of Cosmic City was a bit blurry, it was generally clear. Look, forefather, the Tao Temple knows how terrifying Xiaoming is. Now that they're operating the universal bridge and showing the might of Xiaoming's breakthrough, they intend to reconcile with the realm of Feng Tian. Some elders from the realm of Fengtian laughed, certain that it was because of Qiu Ming. After all, operating the universal bridge in such a situation was a great loss to the Almighty. The Tao Temple was bowing to them. This put Feng Tianyi in a good mood. If Weisstein Jinyu knew what they were thinking, he would most likely laugh out loud. The reason he had opened the universal bridge to pay attention to Cosmic City was because he felt that Xiao Ming's breakthrough would most likely cause a huge commotion. Previously, they were talking about rumors of Su Yan's return. Weisstein Jinyu could tell them with certainty that Su Yan had indeed returned. Since there was no confirmation from the immortal graveyard, Weisstein Jinyu speculated that Su Yan would most likely make a move on Xiao Ming. I'm looking forward to seeing how big of a commotion Su Yan can cause. Vice Principal Jinyu sucked in a breath of cold air and thought to himself, a young overlord who came out alive from the Hall of Hell. It's really hard to believe. Su Yan has gone through the cruelest test of prehistory. How strong is he? I'm really looking forward to it. His fists were clenched tightly. Even an almighty would find it hard to calm down. Look, he's about to succeed. Looks like there's no need to wait until tomorrow. I think he'll be able to penetrate the almighty domain today. Cries of surprise rang out as they focused on the images projected by the cosmic bridge. They saw a supreme figure within the cosmic city, surging with vast amounts of essence blood that surged between heaven and earth. This figure even started to emit the light of order. One after another, it was as though numerous azure dragons were drilling out, emitting a terrifying pressure that originated from the greater environment. Even though it's a space-time projection, I can still capture Qiu Ming's strength. All of the powerful elders exclaimed endlessly, because the commotion caused by this breakthrough was too shocking. It connected the heavens and the earth, and the streaks of light of order were all like stellar rivers, like azure dragons. The atmosphere was tyrannical, far surpassing the great experts of the outside world. Haha, an almighty who breaks through in the greater environment is naturally stronger, surpassing all the almighty experts in the past million years. Feng Tianyi laughed heartily. This evaluation was too high, but no one refuted it. Who asked him, Qiu Ming, to occupy the right time, place, and people to become the first almighty of the new era? Now, he had erupted fiercely in the greater environment and was about to penetrate into the almighty realm. The cosmic city was shaking slightly. This enormous city, which had been constructed for an incalculable amount of time, seemed to be on the verge of collapse. The vast rivers, mountains, and earth were somewhat dim. This was because Qiu Ming's absorption had surged by a large amount and possessed the power of Almighty. He was like a giant dragon inhaling, his entire body rippling with energy that could suppress the world. He even gave birth to the laws of order and was filled with the pressure of the greater environment. There was even a peerless might that could split the heavens and earth being released. Boom! Suddenly, people saw the starry sky rotating like a giant starry sky furnace rumbling as it rotated. The starry sky, which covered millions of kilometers, was dazzling. Tens of thousands of stars sprinkled down and rotated with rumbling sounds. The aura instantly became berserk, as though it had transformed into tens of thousands of formation disks. It was also as though the stars of the universe were rotating. What was shocking was that the starry sky changed as though it had been cut off. The starry rivers changed their paths because of this. They were like starry river dragons flowing through the vast starry sky. Millions of starry rivers shone brightly as they revolved around a blurry, yet enormous domain gate. It was an astonishing, celestial phenomenon. The stars rotated and the starry rivers flowed as though they had transformed into a great starry sky vortex. They revolved around a giant domain gate with an earth-shaking momentum. Quick look, someone roared. Our race's war god Qiu Ming has already begun to split the heavens and earth before he has even stepped into the almighty realm. The whole place was in an uproar. Almighties could split the heavens and earth and create a space-time. Those who could reach this step were all well-known almighties. However, Xiaoming had already begun to split the heavens and earth before he had even stepped into the almighty realm. What kind of magnificent feat was this? It was destined to stun the vast heavens and earth. It was a shocking scene. The starry sky rotated as the domain gate expanded, outlining a domain gate that covered millions of kilometers. Moreover, a supreme figure was vaguely sitting cross-legged within it. It was as though a god had been born. Heaven's ceiling, an extremely majestic voice exploded, deafening everyone's ears. This made people tremble even more. Some people roared, "Heaven's ceiling is definitely a land of peril." I didn't expect the heaven ceiling, ancient scripture of the heaven ceiling region, to be a prehistoric heavenly art. It was a shocking scene. The domain gate in the starry sky shone down billions of rays of cosmic light, vaguely suppressing Xiaoming and the universe. It was as if the heavens and earth had been forcefully severed. How? Some people's faces turned pale. What was going on? Why did they feel that it was suppressing Xiaoming? Wasn't this the space-time he had created? However, the path of Almighty was too far away for them to understand. They felt that this was normal. Heaven's ceiling. A deep roar exploded, even more violent than before. Su Yin used a supreme secret technique to manifest the divine shield mystic art of the 9 mystic arts. He sealed the heavens, reversed the great path, and triggered the infinite source of the universe. At this moment, the peak of the 9 heavens fell down, suppressed by the environment. Boom! For a moment, the grand Tao was like thunder, and the heavenly might was vast and mighty. It was as if millions of thunderclaps were exploding in Xiaoming's ears. His body trembled violently, and a crack seemed to appear on it. Everyone was dumbfounded. What was going on? Xiaoming was injured? Moreover, the entire official residence was dyed red with blood, and it even splashed out, causing the surrounding 100,000 li of space to be dyed dark red. Battle God, Xiaoming of our race, is using the power of the universe to temper himself. An expert from the realm of sealed heaven shouted excitedly. Enduring the tempering of the universe, he will be able to forge the strongest universal battle body and dominate the world. Everyone thought that Xiaoming was trying to break through, but they didn't expect that he was still bitterly cultivating. He was so perverted that he wanted to use the universe's environment to temper his body. I forgot to post the one I wrote in the afternoon. I'll post another one soon. Chapter 1163. Blood splashed out from the cosmic city and dyed the mountains and rivers within 100,000 miles red. It was as if a powerful being had been injured. The affected world was changing, emitting an oppressive atmosphere that spread out far and wide. The cultivators who came to watch the ceremony in the cosmic city were surprised, but they felt that this was normal. Powerful beings were heaven-defying and wouldn't break through so easily. As for the scene displayed by the cosmic bridge, a group of big shots frowned. Someone whispered, "How difficult is it to create heaven and earth? Xiaoming isn't a powerful being and hasn't bathed in divine punishment to fully comprehend the universe's mysteries. How can he create heaven and earth? Perhaps this is the charm of the environment. After all, the prehistoric world is very different from the present. Powerful beings who come out of the environment are all extraordinary. I wonder if Xiaoming's breakthrough will go smoothly. His breakthrough is causing a huge commotion. Let's wait quietly for now. We'll know soon enough." They were discussing softly and wouldn't speak loudly because there were many almighties watching the ceremony. These almighties were especially surprised. The universe seemed to be suppressing Xiaoming. He should be merging with the universe now and not being suppressed by the universe. This was because that would only happen when heavenly punishment appeared. Although they were puzzled, the immortal graveyard's environment was different from the outside world. It would be difficult to defy the heavens. Boom! Suddenly, that terrifying figure, although sputtering out blood, had a terrifying aura. His body was brimming with life force, as if 10,000 azure dragons were surging out and attacking the heavens. They wanted to tear apart the heavens and fuse with the great Tao of the universe. "I want to seal the heavens." The deep voice exploded for the 3rd time. It was peerless, and the boundless firmament was overturned. It was as if a giant gate had descended into the mortal world. It was also as if a supreme god had descended from the heavens. Inside the gate was a blurry and huge figure bathed in the light of the universe. From this moment on, heaven and earth became gloomy. Tao techniques collapsed, and darkness enveloped the world, suppressing all holiness and glory. It was as if this flourishing age was about to explode. The atmosphere was violent and oppressive to the extreme. Roar! A low and deep roar exploded. Xiao Ming emitted a kind of fury. The official residence he was in had collapsed. His figure surged with millions of blurry rays of light, and he wanted to make the darkness start to split apart. In the end, he let out a long howl. Heaven and earth trembled, and the sun and moon sank. The starry sky that was falling down was trembling. The sky was about to be completely pierced through by his aura, and a huge hole was formed. Danger zone. When the fourth majestic voice reverberated, everything changed. Beneath Universe City, boundless terrains surged out. It was extremely terrifying and inconceivable. The earth was moving towards revival, and there were loud explosions as if its pulse was beating. My words are about to come true. They really are sealing the sky and destroying the earth. An expert from the realm of sealed heaven shouted excitedly. Xiao Ming's invincible battle god path is about to be completed. Let's wait and see. Heaven and earth underwent a great change, giving birth to the momentum of heaven and earth, along with the operation of the pinnacle secret technique of the mystical gate. The profound meaning of the godly shield of the 9 escape techniques of the mystical gate erupted. This supreme escape technique changed the heavens and earth here, directly stirring up a corner of the universe. This magnificent realm gate was completely revived, and it was above the gods. The gate was crowded with a figure overlooking the heavens and earth. It could easily stir up a corner of the universe and gather the suppression of the environment. The energy of the heavens and earth is intertwining into a grand momentum. Many people were stunned. This seemed to be a mystical ability. Could it be that Xiao Ming had mastered a mystical ability? Or was the heaven-sealing ancient scripture so powerful that it could stir up the heavens and earth, gather the power of the universe, and blast open the path of the Almighty? Bang! However, that astonishing body, Xiao Ming, who was trying to connect with the heavens and earth, trembled violently. Blood flowed out of his mouth and nose. He couldn't bear it, because if this continued, he would be very weak. After all, he was breaking through, not fighting an enemy. What's going on? Many people found the situation was not right. In particular, the scene displayed by the Universe Bridge made the Almighty whisper. The heavens and earth are suppressing Xiao Ming, not allowing him to merge with the universe. Could it be that breaking through in the immortal graveyard is very difficult? The smile on Feng Tiany's old face was somewhat stiff. Then he said, no matter how strong the suppression is, it can't lock down Xiao Ming. He will definitely break through in defiance of the heavens. After all, we don't understand the bigger picture. If we don't know, let's not talk nonsense and wait for Xiao Ming to break through. Some people frowned. Wasn't this a little too high? Some almighty figures felt that Xiao Ming's breakthrough would be more difficult. Perhaps some accidents would happen. Now, Xiao Ming wanted to tear apart the heavens and earth with force and break through his path to becoming almighty. Unfortunately, the heavens and earth had changed. Endless divine energy swept over Xiao Ming and launched a cruel suppression on him. The heavens and earth have revived and are suppressing Xiao Ming. The expressions of the cultivators in the Universe City changed. They caught sight of the great changes in the heavens and earth suppressing Xiao Ming's breakthrough. Who dares to block my path to becoming almighty? Get out of my way. Xiao Ming was furious. His voice shook the heavens and earth. An overlord who was about to succeed was furious. His entire body released a terrifying radiance. This was the majestic energy of a giant dragon. It poured out in full force and bombarded the heavens and earth, tearing apart all obstacles. He had an invincible heart and had already cultivated the boldness of an almighty. Even if someone could interrupt his breakthrough, he also had the peerless strength to blast everything away. Boom! Xiaoming let out a long roar. Killing intent surged from his body as he gathered his endless divine energy and bombarded the heavens and earth prison. He wanted to break free from this huge prison and jump out to reopen his path to becoming an almighty. Suppress. The sound of the great Tao appeared between the heavens and earth. A huge palm stretched out and gathered the power of the universe. It encompassed the origin of the heavens and earth and covered Xiaoming. Oh my God, the universe has given birth to a will and is suppressing Xiaoming. The outstanding heroes were frightened. They could distinguish the will contained in the sound of the great Tao. This was the spiritual will that was suppressing Xiaoming. Could it be that Xiaoming did some heartless thing and incurred the wrath of the universe's will to suppress Xiaoming? Their expressions were very abnormal. It was too illogical. What exactly happened that made the heavens and earth produce a cosmic hand to suppress Xiaoming? I am invincible under the heavens. Who dares to block my path in the immortal graveyard? Xiaoming let out a low roar. He brandished his fist and smashed it forward fiercely. One had to admit that he was too strong. His aura could swallow rivers and mountains and was immeasurable. The power of his fist affected millions of miles and bombarded the cosmic hand, causing it to explode directly. However, the heavens and earth revolved. The energy was endless and gushed out vast divine might. It whistled over and filled the entire place. A land of slaughter was born. It could be said to be an immeasurable calamity. These were all kinds of great killing techniques evolved from the power of the universe. They appeared frequently and attacked Xiaoming endlessly, wave after wave. In fact, the transformation process was very abnormal. The atmosphere in the heavens and earth prison also became more and more frightening. The bitter killing intent was vast and mighty, and it wanted to pierce the souls of the powerhouses. The world turned blood red. It was as if it had become a vast land of blood. Countless corpses were piled up, and the spirit of the gods was about to go out of control. How can there be such a strong, killing intent? The Iron Blood King was scared. Even with his strong spiritual will, he felt as if he had escaped into a demon's den. His whole body was ice cold. At this moment, the Iron Blood King seriously suspected that there was a peerless, ruthless person obstructing Xiaoming. The world of slaughter that had evolved was bloody and cruel. It wanted to slaughter the entire world and split apart billions of lives. Could it be him? The Iron Blood King thought of Su Yin, but he felt that it was impossible. Although Su Xianren was crazy, he would never develop such a ferocious aura. Even a famous, ruthless person in history wouldn't develop such an astonishing, baleful aura. Whoosh! In a blood-red purgatory, a blood-red heavenly rock came whistling. Its body was huge, and it spread its wings as it swooped down from the distance. It was evolved from the Tao and contained the heavenly rock's most primitive fighting strength. It charged toward Xiaoming. Whoever dares to stop me will be killed without mercy. Xiaoming was furious. He was breaking through to the supreme realm, but someone came to cut off his path. They sealed the sky and the earth, wanting to destroy his path. This made him mad with hatred. He roared so loudly that the heavenly rock exploded. However, what happened next was enough to make one despair. In the human purgatory, tens of thousands of beasts came out of their cages. Their roars shook the sky, and their killing intent was like the sea. Everyone in the universe was trembling. They couldn't believe the scene in front of them. Tens of thousands of beasts descended into the world. They were extremely ferocious as they galloped in the blood-red purgatory. This was the boundless source of the universe, evolved from the killing intent of the myriad Tao. Some people even saw the enormous azure dragon, the Kuan Peng with the power of the sea, and the enormous heavenly beast. Tens of thousands of beasts came out of the mountains, moving as fast as lightning. This was purgatory on Earth. Tens of thousands of killing intents rushed toward Xiaoming, one after another. It was endless. Someone is stopping Xiaoming. We were wrong. Someone has already started to stop Xiaoming. A genius said in a trembling voice. What kind of ruthless person is it? He sealed the sky and the earth, evolved the domain world, and stopped Xiaoming from breaking through. Everyone lost control of themselves. How could such a ridiculous thing happen? The beasts evolved from the energy of the universe, attacked Xiaoming with a bloody will to crush him. What kind of ruthless person was this? Vaguely, someone saw a huge figure outlined in the starry sky. It seemed to be a god of war, standing on top of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. That person, I seem to know him. Everyone at the scene was dumbfounded. When they saw the figure materialized in the sky, walk out, and enter the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth state, they were all shocked to the core. A person who had entered the land of death. Now, he had returned. I knew it was you. Xiaoming roared, as if he was enraged. He roared, "You piece of trash! So what if you came back alive from the Hell's Hall? I'm about to become an almighty expert. I'll crush you to death very soon." Xiaoming was too strong. He had accumulated an immeasurable amount of resources during the day of breaking through, and the myriad beasts were on the verge of exploding. He was like a divine lord who ruled over the world. His roar shook the heaven and earth as he brandished his fists and violently smashed toward Su Yan. You can't even break free from this prison, and you still have the face to say that you want to crush me. Su Yan's eyes were like lightning, and his black hair danced in the wind. In this dark world, a thick smell of blood emerged. He coldly shouted, "Why aren't you coming over to die?" Fourth update.